Hello, I am Gregory the Poor Typist, and welcome to another edition of Typewriter Club Live. Today, we are sharing reviews of our typewriters. So I asked members to write a review of the typewriter you're using. So hopefully we hear about some good and maybe some bad typewriters. But yeah, we have some people waiting in the wings. So first, I do want to remind people that Type Pals is and always will be free. So please join us at typepals.com, and we'd love to have you. So there we go. All right, yes. So sadly, I haven't been doing much typing this week because I'm back in school. So right now I'm taking a marketing class, and it's much more challenging than I imagined. I've always thought of marketing and business as like second nature to me, because I've been starting and running businesses since I was a kid, really, like maybe 8 or 9. So yeah, but this is pretty intense. So anyway, welcome everybody. Yeah. Diane, how are you?
I'm muted.
Yes, you are.
Oh, I'm all right.
Yeah. I saw you posted actually I could show it right now. Let's see, let me share the screen. Oh, I don't have the right, let me switch tabs real quick. This one, yes. Where am I?
You're in California.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Sorry, couldn't resist that one.
No, it was good.
Yeah, so this probably looks familiar to you, Diane.
Yep. Yes, it does.
Yeah, thank you so much for posting that picture. And I was looking at it just now, and the lowercase g looks very interesting. It's a very interesting shape. Is that just the design on the keyboard, or is that how it actually types?
No, that's just on the keyboard. It types like a normal G.
Okay.
I was just looking at the one I have that I'm trying to do my typing prompt.
Oh.
I actually did not have one of these up on my table, but I decided, well, everybody else will do a portable or, something modern.
Exactly.
I have to be responsible for doing the ancient machines,
Oh. well, Diane, I will give you $5 if you give me that keycap of the letter G.
If I give you that, well, I don't know if I can give you that, but
I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, so you really don't know how hard it is to get these things off.
Yeah,
they don't just slide out because they've been in there too long.
Yeah. Plus, I would never, ever do that. I do not recommend that at all. I just,
maybe I can take a macro shot of it for you. And
that would actually be fantastic, because then I could import it into Adobe Illustrator and maybe turn it into a logo or something. That would be awesome if you could do that for me.
Or a button, or a sticker, or a key.
Yeah.
Oh, you could be like living in G's.
There's gonna be G's all over the place.
Yeah, unfortunately, my machine over here with it actually does have like keycaps. I think I tried to explain that a while back now. Where they actually have a key cap that they put on top of a key. If I don't know, one they had, it's like they had a 7 over a 7 for some silly reason, but on some of them it's like, what I see on the top isn't what's underneath.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I tried to explain that one before.
Would that mean that at some point the actual what do you call it?
Something got changed.
Yeah. But yeah.
Let's
words are escaping me.
Like, here's an example of one I just pulled off.
Type slug. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
It says percent, but what's on the actual key top is a right parenthesis.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think I can show you. I pulled it off of here. And I know how trying. Oh, there we go. I pulled it off of here, and it's like, well, that's not what's there. It's like, and I don't know if you can really see. If you can see kind of like right here, you can see where there's something been glued. Well, that one might actually come off.
Don't break anything. Oh.
No. It's not
Okay.
breaking.
Okay.
It's not breaking, but
Okay.
it's a different types. It's a different. Oh, and it's still an M underneath. But it
Interesting.
it looks different
Huh.
than the M that's there. I don't know why they did that. Maybe somebody didn't like I don't know. Maybe they were trying to protect it. I really don't know. I don't know what the history of these things are.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
But yeah, and some of them, I think maybe maybe they had a problem with the previous, the key top or the type slug, who knows? If only we knew the history of our typewriters,
No
No,
kidding.
exactly.
And I've got plenty of history here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my other Smith Premier 5. This is my earlier Smith Premier 5. This one serial number is 2240, which is 1902.
Wow.
So it's actually in the early end of the Smith Premier 5 series.
Okay.
It's interesting to look at the literature where the book that has the serial numbers for this particular brand, if you want to call it. Of all the machines, they don't have the Model 1. There's no known listing of the Model 1 serial numbers, but for the 2 through the 10, the 6 actually had the fewest serial numbers listed, and it only went into like the 4000s, and that's the one with the 18-inch carriage.
Oh, okay.
I think the 6, then the 9, and then after that, I don't know. It might be the 3, but anyway.
Excellent. Yeah, but yeah, thanks again for posting that picture, though. That's excellent. Thanks again for posting the picture in the gallery.
Oh, no problem. That's the 1899 Smith Premier 4. That's my speed typer.
Oh, wow.
That's the one I use for speed typing in the typing contests.
Yeah. I saw in your description of the picture that you mentioned that's the one with the directional keys.
Yes, on the upper left top row.
Okay.
Excellent. And you can see those in the picture.
Yeah, very cool.
So yeah, you press one of those and you get capital N period, capital E period. That's one type slug.
Wow.
Yeah, you actually have to do a double. You actually have to type do like 2 spaces after that, or else something will overlap.
Oh.
Because I mean, those slugs are the normal width of a slug. Those are actually kind of big.
Okay. Yeah. I guess they would have to do that to fit,
to fit all that on there, because
4 characters on there.
Yeah, you're fitting 2 capital letters and 2 periods. I mean, obviously the periods don't take up much space, but the capital letters do.
Yeah. Wow. That's a very cool typewriter, though. But I could never brave something like that. Well, actually, if I got one, I would send it to you, have you service it for me, and then send it back.
I wish I was the be all end all, but I'm not.
I know. But you're a resident expert, though.
Well, I seem to like the things. I'm not sure why. I just do.
How can any of us explain why?
Yeah, I don't know, you know.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your typing prompt because
Okay.
we do want to hear that later. So, Marvin, how are you doing?
Hello. Hi, I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent.
What do you do?
Good, good.
Um, yeah, I've been as the same as you. My typing frequency is not as much as last week or 2 weeks ago because recently I've been writing letters by hand,
Ah,
and I'm sending out postcards for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
oh,
And you know what makes it cheaper, because this is a private postcard, which means I print it where, through a printing shop, instead of the government making it. It has this as the front, and wait, let me find one without an address. Privacy Act. And the back,
oh, cool.
yes. So this one, this is not printed on. This is made using this. It's a stamp.
Oh, wow. I want
So cheap,
Yeah, that's
much
really
cheaper.
cool. Yeah. And it has kind of a nice handmade quality to it.
Oh yes, it looks like something. If you zoom in here, it looks like
There we go.
what's it called? Something you would find out of a Victorian press.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. But I didn't really I didn't quite understand because I've been sending letters to the United States.
Yes.
And would you care to explain why some postcodes, they very long, 12201-7050, what's the dash about?
So technically, the post office uses 9 digits, but most people, when they think of their zip code, they only think of the first 5 digits. So like I never use the last 4. I just can never remember them. But if I put my zip code in the computer, or my complete address in the computer, it'll automatically add the last 4. So the post office prefers those because it more specifically says where that letter is supposed to go. But most people are just going to put 5 digits. So yeah, I think the post office is, I think the post office is probably regretting only using 5 numbers. So
It made sense back in the 50s.
yeah, exactly.
But when I'm especially, I'd say the British the British postcode system, I think, is the best, because when I'm mailing a letter to the Queen, or the Prince of Wales for that matter, the full postcode is SW1A1AA. But I always just put SW1, so just three alpha numerals. So it's very easy to remember, and I remember all of them.
Wow. That's excellent.
Yeah, I think that's all from me. That's all I have to say.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
What's today's typing from, by the way?
Just to write a review of the typewriter you're using.
Ah, yes. Thanks very much.
Of course. Yeah. And let's see, Sean, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are everybody good?
Yes.
Yeah. I got my Grail typewriter today or yesterday, with that other typewriter. So first I'll lead into this one by saying, so I got this letterhead. Now this is the reproduced version. The original had silver, like it was basically a silver foil.
Oh, wow.
And this original letterhead came out in, oops, sorry.
There you go.
The 1930-31 to basically commemorate the flat top as sort of being the replacement for the Corona 4. You know, so this was the new body style. The Sterling model was Sterling and all that kind of stuff. So Smith Corona actually produced 184 solid silver sterling typewriters for dealers to help sell the model. So they went to a company called Gorham Silver in northeastern United States who did silverware and anything silver pretty much, and commissioned them to do basically what turned out to be 184 bodies in silver. So Smith Corona and the LC Smith Corona are all stamped in here instead of being an actual logo.
Wow.
The whole thing is silver, like sterling silver plate. And there's only 13 known to exist now. So I was lucky enough to track one down and take out a second mortgage on the house, and, pay for a lot of months, and deal with a decent seller. So that just came in yesterday, happily, you know, or actually Friday. So I've just got to do some adjustment on it because, you know, it's there's not a lot of these left. I don't think at the time these came out, the Great Depression was just setting in. So people weren't really interested in buying them, and dealers weren't interested in necessarily keeping them. So Smith Corona had offered the dealers to say, hey, look, you know, you bought this and you spent a lot of money on it. If you don't feel you can sell it or you want your money back, strip off the silver body, melt it down, put it on a regular body, and then you can sell that typewriter and basically recoup your costs in the value of the silver. So nobody really knows how many exist. I would hope that more than 13 do exist and they're somewhere. This particular one was found at an estate sale, I don't know how many years ago now, you know, and obviously sold for cheap, super cheap, probably, and then made its way into sort of the typewriter community and then on from there. And I got it from a collector who got it from a collector.
Wow.
So yeah, pretty excited about it. Needs a little work, needs a little adjustment. You know, I'm happy to say that this is not a showroom model, you know, and to each their own. I mean, those who want to collect showroom models, fine. But I like typewriters that have had a history and have been used. And since 1931, this one did obviously make its way to somebody who did use it. Don't know its story, like to Diane's point, you know, who knows where these things have been and what they've done and who they've done it for and what kind of life they live. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. I mean, it needs a new platen, and this is one of those typewriters I think that I'm really going to have to spring for. I mean, for sure new feet, but I'm going to have to pull all the rubber off and get that all redone by JJ Short, because this is this one for sure deserves it. And I haven't even cleaned it yet. Like silver, like your grandma's silverware is, you know how it spots up pretty quick. Well, this is exactly like grandma's silverware. And it looks like shit. Sorry, it looks like shit. Sorry, bleep me out in the replay. But yeah, no, it'll clean up just like that, because the guy I bought it from, I thought, oh my god, it looks like it's been totally worn. He took a silver wipe and said, no, it's perfect. So it'll look super good. Sorry I didn't do that now. I mean, you can't really see it in the lens, but it's got all the tarnishing at the bottom down here, but it'll all come off. So yeah, pretty excited about that. So that's sort of my premier thing for today. And then after that, I did get this. I really have this penchant for these silly little these Sears towers. This art in this mid-century modern. I don't know. Is that me?
No, that's Jason. He's talking like a chipmunk again.
Oh. I've got these penchant for these tower constellations. I just like the style and the look. And this one, the guy was selling it as a cursive, even though you could tell from looking at the type bars that it's Gothic. It's an elite Gothic. So it's super cool. And usually you don't find those from department store typewriters. So I like those little typefaces. So I mean, it was dirty. It came upside down in the mail. It bent the carriage return again. So I can't return the whole carriage all the way over until I form that back.
Yeah.
Sometimes bending is required. Yeah. So
Oh.
anyway, that's my weekly haul this week. And then I got 2 Corona 4s that I'm working on. One that was supposed to be for parts, but turns out it'll be fine. So it's not going to be parts. It's just going to be a full typewriter again.
Yeah, I saw your post about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's such as life, right? I mean, I'll never sacrifice a typewriter just for its parts
exactly.
if you can recuperate it.
Yeah,
This one is definitely recuperable. So, such is life. Anyway,
It's
that's
funny
my
how that happens.
yeah, I know. I think most people just don't know what to do and how to deal with it. So to them, it's a parts machine. And then when you get it, if you even just have a little bit of knowledge, you're like, oh, this just needs a cleaned rails and a adjusted this, and I can fix that in 5 minutes, and then you got a working typewriter.
Well, that one that Greg showed of mine at the beginning, that one was actually purchased as a parts machine because it was missing a couple of key tops.
Oh.
And that was it. But of course, once we saw we cleared the dust off of those 4 keys at the upper left with the directions, it's like this one guy I think I picked this up at Herman's, but anyway, the one guy, he's like, oh, you gotta restore that. I had never restored a typewriter at that point. but with some help and a few donations of key tops, we managed to get it back in one piece, and it works great.
Yeah, the biggest problem probably was just finding a ribbon to fit that monster.
Well, no, actually, Baco ribbon, it's like I think the local repair shop, or maybe I heard about it online. But in any case, we, they basically, the shop ordered one from her, and they got it, pretty fast, and so that really turned out to not be an issue.
Oh no, I just like making fun of it because it's such a humongous ribbon, and it looks like it's like 4 normal typewriter ribbons wide. It's awesome.
I think it's almost 3.
3? Okay, yeah. Oh. Anyway, that's it for me, Gregory.
I have to say that I would love to see your collection in person. You have some really interesting typewriters.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm the guy I bought this from. He says you've sort of changed your level of collecting now. He goes, you've moved in from you've changed from the guy that just sort of buys whatever he finds to a guy who's becoming a collector in a different way. And I knew what he meant, and I'm having a hard way explaining it because I don't think he even explained it right. But yeah, and I'm liking a different focus, which is sort of you're targeting some unique typewriters and some special things. I'm really happy with where it's going, and I definitely got a lot of, I don't know what I would say, normal typewriters that I should probably sell to give other people joy and clear up what I don't really need anymore. As I get more focused, like we're all changing, all of our focuses change. I think as everybody talks here, I mean, even Kimberly from when she started, she was just, spending whatever and buying whatever, but now she's much better at knowing what she wants and what she expects and what she feels and all that stuff. And I think we're all going through that journey constantly, no matter how many years you've been in this. So yeah, this changed me. Like the gold one that I've got changed me a bit. It made me look at every typewriter a little differently. And then this one is sort of like, yeah. And I really hesitated to talk about it or post it because I don't want to, well, guess what? Hello, everybody. I'll just show you my stuff, and then I'm going to toddle off to tea. I don't, the good thing I think about the typewriter community is we really don't have a lot of the snobs, or the snobs haven't been allowed to come out because we're all a very, good group of folks that we don't judge each other based on what we collect, 1970s plastic Sears models or, gold-plated 1940s models. It doesn't really matter. Everybody just appreciates everybody else's stuff.
Exactly.
We all go through our envy moments, right? We're like, oh my God, I so want one of those. Where did you find that? Yeah, I mean, I do that as well. So yeah, this has changed things for me. I've got to be very careful about just buying other typewriters now, because in some cases I just don't need other typewriters anymore. I've either had them or I've got them, and I don't need to just keep adding up. My basement's getting hard to walk through sometimes. But yes, anytime you come up, Gregory, or anybody to Calgary, I'd be more than happy to dork around here in the basement for 4 or 5 hours showing you all my typewriters.
That would be awesome.
Hey, can you hear me all right now?
Oh, yeah,
Yay,
much better.
Jason, we have you.
No more chipmunk.
John, I might take you up on that later on in the summer, because
Okay, you coming out to Calgary?
Ooh.
if we can get out traveling again. I just wanted to mention, my wife and I went out to see we had a lockdown in Ontario for basically January, and it just opened this past week. So my wife and I went to see a movie last night at a small theater near us, and it was the French Dispatch, the new Wes Anderson movie. Oh, it's just littered with typewriters.
I know.
Oh,
It's my
wow.
new favorite. It's my new favorite movie. I love Wes Anderson movies, but that's like,
I kept elbowing my wife whenever there'd be one on screen, and I'd say, "Oh, look, there's a Hermes rocket, or there's a Hermes 3." And she's like, "Would you fuck off?"
yeah.
Did she get a bruise from you nudging her so much?
Typewriter.
Shut up.
It was good.
That's funny. Oh, I'll have to see that now.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Gregory, absolutely worth it.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's a very quirky movie. So if you're familiar with his films, and if you
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't like his films, you probably won't like this one either. But
No, my wife and I love his films, actually.
oh, you'll like it then.
You'll love it then.
Excellent. Very cool. Intro, how are you
All right.
doing? What? What was that intro?
I thought it was all right, that Wes Anderson movie. I've seen about 7,000 movies, I guess, something like that. But in this range, it was all right.
You're a refined European, though. We're all low-class colonials over here, so everything's good to us, Indro.
See me smiling.
How are you, Indro?
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. Anything new to share?
No, I got my IBM fixed.
Oh, good.
It was, well, the difficult part was the dead key. It took me a long time to figure out how that one worked and why it was, because it runs through a wire and it connects to another wire and then it connects to the key. So I ended up calling Phoenix Typewriter. I tried several times, but if he picks up and he helps. He's very kind. So that helped, and I had to adjust some latches and get it completely cleaned. But well, I must say it's quite an interesting. I think I said it last time, but it's quite an interesting typewriter. I thought I was would never be into the IBM golf ball typewriters because I thought, but if you have one and if you take it apart and you rebuild it and you clean it and it works, it's quite interesting.
Indro, was that cog broken like Joe thought it might have been because of the sound? Oh, good. Awesome.
No, it wasn't.
Good.
Actually, all plastic parts, all are good. So I have another one.
Yeah.
And I'll think, I'm talking about spare machines, but I'll think I'll keep that one as a spare machine for this particular typewriter because some parts can break pretty easy at the end. So
what was it that was hanging it up that was making the noise? Do you know?
yeah, well, the latches, there are 4 latches, and they needed to be adjusted and cleaned, but the difference could be 1 millimeter.
Yeah, precision instrument.
Yeah, and I think 3 golf balls with it, and I found here in the Netherlands 2 other ones will be sent this week. So I think we have like 4 or 5 different typefaces. It's quite easy to replace those, and correction is nice. All right. I'm thinking, if you like, most of us, we start collecting typewriters. The first ones I bought were just like to type, and then you think like, oh, this is a nice machine. Then you start to extend your collection. I don't know. I lost count. I have over 50 now, but and then you start to specialize. Like, oh, I like those types. I like those types. I like these machines, and then. Oh, then at a certain point you think like, oh, maybe I can get rid of some machines. I have to reduce it a little bit, but that's hard. And then it evolves. So that IBM is maybe, I said to my wife, because she says, well, it's an electric typewriter. I say, I have few electric models, but this is the killer of the analog machine. And it's on top of the food chain, to say. So I thought like, well, it's interesting to to add that one to my collection. Actually, before I bought this one, I found an R101, I think, not an IBM, but it was built by IBM by another company. But I went to pick that up and that was broken. So they asked quite a amount of money for it, and they said, "Well, I'm not taking it because it's broken." So I offered less, but no, they kept on that. So and then I found these IBM, so still good.
Yeah, good.
That is excellent. Excellent. Yeah, exciting news. I would still like to get one of the IBMs. I'm just not sure which one. I actually like the look of, I don't know if it's the Selectric one, or if I'm thinking of the Executive. But I like the look of those, the earlier ones. I think the Executive, I don't think that's a golf ball style though, right? I think that's
No,
a type bar.
the Executive is a Type R style.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I think you're thinking the Selectric Model 1, which is really the Model 71, is the one that's more curved shaped.
Yes, yes.
And it's compatible with the Selectric 2 in terms of the style of golf ball.
Oh, okay.
And then the Selectric 3 went to 100 and something character keyboard. So the golf balls for the Selectric 3 are not backward compatible to the 2 or the 1.
That makes sense. Excellent. Thank you for that, Joe. And enjoy your breakfast.
Yeah, actually, I have some Canadian maple syrup here
Oh.
for my French toast.
Yeah.
If I can focus on it, made in Canada.
Oh.
Trader Joe's brand, but anyways.
You guys, you'll be interested to know that the maple syrup market up here is like a mob. It's a mafia. Absolutely seriously. It is held in such tight control through Quebec that what you've got in your hands there is the product of mob rule and monopoly and all that kind of stuff. And unlike what you see in your TV down there, we don't drink it from the bottle straight.
You mix it with Albertson's brand blended Canadian whiskey in the plastic bottles.
We don't have Albertsons either, so we've got the Costco stuff.
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Anyways, oh yeah, so I got my little setup here.
Very
French
nice.
toast, Canadian syrup, sounds very international, Joe.
It is, and it's American bacon, of course. You got to have bacon, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Now I wonder about French toast. Is it actually French? Because there's some cuisines that they have like French in the title, but is it really?
yeah, our French fries French? Well, they're actually pommes frites, right? If they're French, but are they French? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
They're freedom fries.
they're freedom fries. Yeah, but we do have the glass of Tang.
Of course.
Because I was a child of the 60s and I watched the moon landings live on TV.
Ah, yes.
So,
did you hear that in, I think 2031, they're going to retire the International Space Station and basically crash it into the ocean?
yep, all that money.
Yeah, and they're NASA is going to partner with whatever private companies, because now private companies are basically able to do such things.
Yeah, it'll probably be SpaceX.
Yeah.
Someone from China.
Or China. Yeah, China will have their space station going really good by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting time we live in right now.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Well, speaking of interesting times, technology-wise, my neighborhood is an old neighborhood, and we have our telephone lines are up on the poles, right? They're exposed to the weather, and I have DSLs, internet. So my internet's been kind of flaky the last few months. So I had a service guy came out just this morning and said, well, the phone company was bought out by another company that they're basically a fiber optic company, but they're not going to upgrade the neighborhood into fiber until about 5 years. So, but he was able to get me supposedly a little bit better speed. We'll see. But in the meantime, I'm thinking about switching to cable modem. Especially trying to get this done before the February 19th virtual Herman's event. where I'm
Oh, yeah.
I'm supposed to do a live presentation. I don't want my internet cutting out while I do
No.
that, you know.
All right.
So
Yeah.
is satellite not an option for you, Joe?
Satellite internet. Well, we're in the middle of the city, but no, you know, Starlink is SpaceX's satellite internet thing, and it's still experimental. And they're not offering it to everybody. You have to get on a list to get it. So the real options are cable modem or 5G wireless internet through a cell phone company. And
Yeah.
I have to explore both of those to see what the prices are. The speeds are probably about the same. Cable modem is pretty fast these days. So my big problem is not really the speed as much as it is the reliability.
Exactly.
Because the internet will just literally, the router will start blinking just on every few minutes, you know. So,
Oh, wow.
but he did increase the upload speed this morning. He went over to the next street over and found the junction box and put me on a different port on the thing. And so I got a little bit faster upload speed, but my main concern is whether it's reliable. But, you know, that's you know, if you live in a big city, you take for granted internet, right? Usually. But if you live in a smaller town with older infrastructure, it's never quite as good.
Exactly.
I'm not using this computer is on Wi-Fi, but that's the only thing I use on Wi-Fi. The rest is all phone 5G.
Ah.
Yeah. My computer that I'm on is on a LAN cable wired into my modem, and the modem is of course connected to the phone system, the wired telephone system. So it's all wired, but the wires are old, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty sad when the whole reliability of this comes down to something like Joe, what you just described about the guy putting you on a different port reminded me of when those Nintendo cartridges came out and everyone would blow in the cartridge just to make sure the contacts were clean. So you plugged it in and it worked.
I used to repair those just by taking the cartridge apart and cleaning the contacts with contact cleaner. It was a common problem. But the problem with the DSL is it's sharing the same line with the phone system. And the phone system has 50 volts DC on it, right? Which is dial tone. And if you get weather in those copper lines, because they're exposed, the DC shorts across the short of like the moisture, and then it starts creating carbon, starts burning. And then you have now a carbon shunt across your line that will, you know, it'll attenuate the modem signal, the RF signal. So you have that DC, high current DC on the line, which is a problem, right? When it's exposed to the air, to the weather. So
Wow.
anyway, too much information for everybody to, but anyway, that's what I was doing this morning, is standing out in the snow in my backyard in my slippers, watching the phone guy check out the connection. We did get
Sounds like-
snow last week.
Oh, yay. Congratulations.
It was down, we had temperature was down to about 7 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty good, you know.
Wow.
So we had our one winter storm of the season.
There you go.
I stayed home from work because it's crazy out there when it's icy.
Oh, yeah.
So in the foreground here, you can't really see, but this is my 1949 Smith Corona Silent. And that was the one I did a video about a couple of days ago. Technically doesn't belong to me, but it belongs to a guy that was a school teacher in Los Alamos. And I had given it to him for his class, and then his students bent the type bars or the keys, key levers. So anyways, I had fixed it, and then it sat, and I never could get a hold of him again. So this may or may not end up being mine again. But for the time being, I'm enjoying it.
That's good.
And we have over here the Olympia Splendid 33. So,
Very
and I don't really have a room for another typewriter here because my monitor for my computer is here, and my keyboard and mouse. So I don't know if you guys like manual keyboards, but I've had this for a few years. This is what's called a 60% keyboard. So
Yes,
it has. Yeah, so this is Keyboard Paradise, makes these, and you can choose the kind of switches you want. These are Cherry MX Browns are my favorites. But it's a very mechanical sounding and feeling keyboard. I really like it. And with the right cable adapter, I can actually plug it into my iPad and use it with a word processor program on the iPad as a kind of a mechanical word processor thing. So
nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
What's
I
that,
have.
Sean?
Sorry, I was I dug out all those tools, got the right tool, and then put it right back with everything else. Sorry,
So,
I was just cursing. I should have muted.
so now we're going to pour some Canadian maple syrup onto our remaining piece of French bread.
All right, Canadians.
Yes. Was that the official French toast?
Yeah, goodbye,
salute?
goodbye, maple syrup.
Goodbye, maple. They have the Canadian maple syrup mafia.
Yeah. Au revoir, syrup de maple.
I actually have one of those one of the 60% keyboards. It's kind of blown out, but and I think I opted for the blue switches. It's extremely clicky. I turned on the original sound, so
Oh yeah.
oh, I thought about taking it to work, but I think it would drive people crazy, and they would probably shush me.
Oh yeah, the library.
Yeah,
I like those. I like those cherry switches. They're pretty good.
yeah.
Take this one to the library. This is thin enough it'll fit in your bag. It's not mechanical, but it's small enough. And take a Surface with a big monitor and that keyboard, and it's great. It's
Nice.
The interesting thing about computer keyboards, right, is they're an evolution from the typewriter. They're a direct evolution, right? Obviously, and I guess the first IBM PC computer keyboards were derived from your Selectrics, right? In terms of the feel of them, I guess, and the ergonomics.
Yep.
Oh, the good old days.
Yep. So they're still using the Scholes and Glidden keyboard layout from the first typewriters.
I see Brian's got a interesting looking keyboard there.
Ooh, that's not a 60% keyboard. That's something really special.
That's
Brian's always got cool
120%. Yep.
I know, huh?
Oh, there you go. I just want to show that off. It's all backlit and Bluetooth and all kinds of stuff.
Of course it is.
It's Bluetooth and it's got a wired connection too. So if my battery's out, I can plug it in and charge it, and it'll work while it's charging.
Wow.
So
That's
Brian, I
gorgeous.
think I have the budget version of yours. Mine is kind of like it's full sized. It's not Bluetooth. It's got switches and stuff on it, but
Gotcha.
it's not. These aren't really high quality switches though, but they are.
Yeah.
They are clicky enough to annoy the people around you for sure.
And
Yeah,
that's what's
that's fun.
important.
Yes.
and my wife got me one, the shorter version than yours, but
Gotcha.
the colors drive you crazy, and I haven't been able to. I guess you can turn them off, but I think she's going to get it in her office. She likes the colors, so I get one like Joe's that has the blue or the brown clickers. Those are nice.
I like the small keyboard. What I don't like is a full-size keyboard with a number pad on the right, because, as a touch typist, I like to put the center of the home row centered on my monitor, right?
Mhm.
And then that makes, as a right-handed mouser, it makes the mouse way too far over on the other side of the number pad. So it's not really very ergonomic. If you switch the mouse to the left side, it's better if you're using a full-size keyboard because it's closer. But
Well, unless you're an accountant, you don't really need all those. It's wasted space. That numeric keyboard.
Exactly.
yeah, it
you
is.
know,
I think so too.
My dad was an accountant, and I learned how to do 10 key a long time ago, and I'm pretty good at it. So if I have a bunch of numbers in a spreadsheet or a program to do, I can do it without looking. So I really like having the 10 key over there.
So Brian, was the 10 key that we have on our computer keyboards the same layout as the 10 key on an adding machine?
I think so.
Because I know the telephone 10 key keypad is opposite.
Yeah,
Right.
right. No, this is more like a 10 key adding machine keyboard.
Okay. Because I remember just 20 years ago, there was a Safeway in town that they still had the old adding machines, and the guy could literally grab a can out of your bag and look at the number and do the keyboard without looking. That was,
Yeah.
he was actually quicker than the scanner thing.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Not that long. Actually, relative to centering in front of your monitor, I've got a 32-inch monitor sitting all the way at the end of my desk.
Mm.
So it's like not even in the same time zone. It looks fine wherever I put it. So I can turn to that. So I got my typewriter desk here. So I see with the typewriter over there, the keyboard over here. And of course, you got that.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Oh. Wow.
So, but it looks centered as far away as it is, and as big as my monitor is. So
Yeah, well, it's more about the ergonomics of if you're touch typing, and your hands are there on the home row. You want the center of the monitor to be even with it, so you're not looking off to the side.
right.
Anyway, that's me. That's just, I like it centered. So
Nice.
Excellent. Jason, was there anything new with you? Any new typewriters or anything?
Right now I got a Singer typewriter on my workbench.
Oh, okay.
Those ones with the really tall sort of metal cover that goes over the ribbon area. They're very common around here. I've seen lots of them. So anyway, someone gave me one of these, and the spring is okay, but the cord on the carriage is broken. So I went out to get some cable for that, and it turned out that it has a really small diameter hole that you have to feed this line through. So I couldn't use the cable that I had. So I've got some fishing line now, which is, I don't know what the strength is, 20 or 30 pounds, but I think it'll fit through that little hole. So that's my project right now, is a late 60s Singer. I think they were made by Royal because the keys are shaped like Royal keys.
does it have the ribbon cover that slides forward, kind of just slides?
No, it's like almost like a little bit of a dome in the center of it.
Oh.
I think like the popular models I see all the time, they're called Scholastic. So I don't know if they did these things for schools or something, but you pull this thing off and it's a wonder that they're not all like scratched up and everything, because it kind of fits in there like metal on metal. It's
because I have a Singer electric type R machine that's a Smith Corona 6 series. So
also they license from a couple different places.
Yeah.
So I hope to get that working, and then when the weather gets warmer here in Toronto, like we just got a ton of snow over the last couple of weeks, and we got our whole winter's worth of snow basically right now. So once the weather gets a little warmer, I'll go outside and I'll dump some mineral spirits on it and start cleaning it out a little bit better. But
yeah, excellent. All right, Kimberly, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm well.
Excellent. Anything new with you?
No, I was just saying to Diane recently that the last 2 typewriters I bought came in at once, and then I had my repaired one just back. So it's like having 3 new typewriters at once. So I'm still in that euphoria.
Yeah. And how are the letters or postcards or anything like that going?
Good. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying decorating the envelopes. I like to draw or color on it so that you know you've got happy mail coming.
Oh, you're a very creative person. Excellent. All right. And we sort of checked in with Joe, but Joe, he's typing, of course.
I can stop anytime.
Okay, but anything new for you? Any new projects or videos in the works?
No, I've been working on the presentation for the virtual Hermans, and that's kind of done so far. And the subject matter of my talk is going to be how to the basics of how to do video for YouTube, if you're interested in, because there's a number of YouTube channels besides mine that are focused on typewriters. And so I thought it would be a good intro, keeping in mind that there's so much to talk about that, and I'm sure people are going to want to know what is the model name of this camera that I get or whatever. My whole point is more about, in general terms, the categories of devices to get, because model numbers of cameras change every few months, right? Whatever
Exactly.
comes out. So yeah, I've been working on that. And as far as typewriters, well, last week I did some thrift store shopping. I haven't been out to the thrift stores in months. And I got to tell you, the thrift store situation is not like it used to be. There's a lot of junk out there and a lot of overpriced junk. I didn't really see anything I wanted. Nothing that was mechanically sound enough for me to want to buy, or if it was something I already had, nothing really unusual or new. I did see the middle series of Hermes 3000s, I guess the late 1960s. It's sort of semi-boxy, but not the plasticky one from the 70s.
Right.
They were wanting this at
That's not it.
a pseudo antique store. They wanted $700 for this typewriter.
Wow, that's crazy.
And yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So, but yeah, so I didn't see anything. So I think in the future, if I really am wanting to buy a typewriter, I'm just going to go over to my local John Lewis typewriter guy and see what he has for sale that he's fixed up. Because if you look at the cost of shipping or the risk of shipping typewriters from online sales, I'd rather pay a little bit more money and get something locally that's been good, done up good. And
Exactly.
yeah, so, or if you have a friend like my friend Kevin, who tends to buy he's not buying as many nowadays, but sometimes I can get them from him. So
Yeah.
he has like twice as many as I do at least. So
Wow. Now, when you say thrift stores, is that Goodwill specifically, or is it other thrift stores?
I don't find anything in Goodwill. It's other thrift stores. Yeah, they're local, family thrift stores, or there's a number of them. There's a part of Central Avenue, the old Route 66 in Albuquerque, that has a number of antique stores along the stretch there, the so-called East Nob Hill area. And so there's a few there. They're overpriced. And some of these typewriters have been there so long that I know if I go into this one store, I know if I go to this booth over here in the back, I know which typewriter it'll be, and it'll still be there, and it'll still be junky and overpriced or broken or something. So yeah. I saw a number of Royals, sort of the predecessor to the QDL, late 40s. I saw a number of those that were busted up and in really poor shape, so.
Yeah.
And they want $120 for them or something like that,
Exactly. They're like, this looks old. Let's charge $120 for it. Sure, it doesn't.
It's not the same as it was 5 years ago or whatever, And I guess I could blame, in a small part, I could blame myself, right? But in the sense of, if you make typewriters more popular, then people are going to raise the prices on them, right?
Exactly.
At least the thrift store, antique store owners and the booth rental people become more, attuned to the market.
Yeah.
I think it's Ted's fault.
I think so too. You have to blame it on somebody, and I don't want to take the blame. So I think it's a good idea to blame Ted.
Especially since he's not here.
That's
well,
right.
He's made looking up serial numbers a lot easier, and the information is a lot more accessible for people. So
right.
I think it contributed a lot to the popularity of typewriters, and that's making the prices go up, making them not available. That's all him.
Well, we've had this conversation before with Ted, and he feels that there is an unlimited supply of typewriters out there because they made so many millions of them. And my feeling is the supply is limited. And now if you look at like full-size upright standard office machines, a lot of those were literally thrown out, because I remember seeing marketing material from IBM that they would they would upgrade an office to Selectrics, but they required their old typewriters to be thrown away, to be destroyed. And that's why you don't have as many office typewriters available now as you do portables, which were more like non-professional kind of people, like homemakers and students and writers. So there's only a limited number of typewriters, and the good ones are being snatched up, right? That we're collecting them. And so what's left is junk, more so and more so. So I think the market is changing, and there's going to be less of them available, which makes prices will be a little more premium, right? As far as if you want to resell them or find another one that the collector already has. So that's just the way the market's evolving.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of them got turned in for scrap recycling in the war.
Yeah, but in the like the 1960s when the Selectric came out, yeah, they were recycled, or I've even heard stories of they were thrown in the local lake, or something like that in the dump, not even recycled. So, which is a shame.
Before it became fashionable again, when it was out of fashion, you couldn't give them away for free. I mean, I remember, now this would have been, significant time years ago, but still, like, people were offering me typewriters for free, and I'd be like, no, what do I want that for? I've got a computer. I don't need that. So they were just, I mean, you couldn't give them away for free, and now the trend is back. It's back in fashion.
Right. And the real problem is that there's no new manufacturing of quality typewriters. There may be Nakajima or somebody maybe still making daisy wheels in Japan, but as far as a manual typewriter, nobody's making a good one. So that's really the problem, is the supply side of the market is restricted. And that's just going to lead to more and more inflation of the prices,
Or it leads to bespoke. Like, I mean, look what people are doing with 3D printers and whatever. So you won't be able to buy it in your local Walmart, but you can go to Etsy, and you know what I mean? Like, will be the handcrafting, the creators will still supply.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but the prices will go up because it'll be a limited market of supply.
But it'll also be more special. It'll be worth the price.
Well, yeah. And I've said this before that, if you look at what a new typewriter like this Smith Corona costed in 1949, for inflation, it was well over $1,000, I'm sure. It was a significant, outlay of money for a family to have a typewriter. And what would it take to build a quality manual typewriter today would be a few $1,000s, no doubt. I mean, look what a VCR costed in 1978. It was equivalent to several $1,000s.
Yeah, and in those times, that's talking about economies of scale too. Making 1,000 of one kind of typewriter that cost $800 or $900 to make at retail. You'd never get that today. You'd make one, and it would cost 10 times what one made in the past, adjusted for inflation, would cost.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. And I think the one model that might be a promising way to go, and it wouldn't be for everybody, but if you look at the way Leica continues to make rangefinder cameras, even today, and they market them as high end for a boutique market, right? So that's probably the only way you could manufacture a quality manual typewriter, is kind of a boutique level and market it as high end.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but it has to have the feel of a high end machine, like really good metallurgy and good materials, and look really good and operate good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a question for Ted, because I guess he monitors his traffic to the typewriter database. So is it going up lately?
Oh, I don't know. Let me check. I heard my name spoken in vain.
I know. I was laughing to myself because we were talking about you, and then all of a sudden you popped in, and I was like, ah.
It's the mojo, the typewriter mojo.
Yeah.
Yes. Speak my name and I shall appear. Two or more gathered together.
Yeah.
That's my name.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, let's see.
We were blaspheming you, Ted.
Yes, I know. Terrible, terrible thing. Let's see.
Funny what you mentioned, Joe, about prices though, because there's a little like a vintage store that I can walk to from my house, and 4 or 5 years ago, I bought a couple typewriters there for between, I don't know, 40 and 60 or $70 Canadian, which is like $15 American probably. And and now they have and they would get 1 or 2 in at any time. So I used to see what they'd have and play with it and see if it was something I was interested in or something I hadn't tried before. Now they've got about 3 or 4, and they've got some like decent ones. Like they've got an Olympia, and they might have like an Underwood or something. And but they're pricing them at $360 or $380. So they've clearly been on eBay or wherever these things are. And I did look at one. I looked at an Olympia. I think it was like an old SM3 from the 60s, and I offered them a price on it, and they say, well, no, like they go for more than that on eBay. And I said, yeah, but this one, like the platen is like rock hard. Like it's
That's
not,
why I think one of the best deals is if you have a typewriter repair shop, a professional shop in your area, is just to buy typewriters from them that they've reconditioned. Because for $360, I can buy a fully reconditioned machine. I mean, it may not have a new platen, but John Lewis, my local guy, charges under $400 for like a medium-sized portable. If it's something like an Olympia, maybe it would be more expensive, like $4 to $5. But it's been completely gone over, taken apart down to almost the last screw and totally clean. So you're getting something that works, and to me, it's worth the money.
But even it depends on your area, because the Toronto Typewriter store is very outside of my budget, thousands of dollars, and it's only because we have a relationship or he'll give me a deal. Like I can't afford prices at all, like not even near his prices.
No, I understand. Yeah, there's a market, there's a spectrum there, but as far as like antique stores or thrift stores, they've discovered the internet, they've discovered that marketing and selling on the internet, and that whole thing inflates the prices. But yeah, you're right. Typewriter repair shops are not cheap, but if they're offering a similar price that from a thrift store or something for a machine that's been gone over, it certainly makes more sense to buy the machine from the typewriter shop,
Yeah, for me, for price, it's been cheaper to buy off Etsy, like off typewriter stores from Etsy. So they've at least been cleaned. Like they may not have been refurbished, but they're from typewriter people. And then even if it needs something, a repair, I can take it to the Toronto Typewriter shop. It still works out to be way cheaper than buying direct from my local shop.
Right, that's good. And Etsy might be the best online way to do it, in terms of, because most of these sellers on Etsy, if they don't ship the typewriter properly, then that goes against their name, right, and their business. Like Shop Goodwill, they don't seem to care. A lot of the places, there are different Goodwills around the country that ship. Some are better than others, but I've heard a lot of horror stories, right, from poorly packed typewriters. And the same thing with eBay. But a dedicated typewriter shop on Etsy seems like a way to go, because they have your interest in mind, because that's part of their business, right?
I see that Etsy is like 5, 6, 7 times more expensive than like your other sources. But maybe a tip is that if I buy a cheap typewriter, but the people don't know how to send it, I just usually find a packaging video of Phoenix typewriter, whatever, and send that over to them and say like, oh, pack it this way because it's delicate stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
To answer your question,
the Etsy stores are half the price of my local typewriter shop, easily. Even when it's $500, it's still less than half of what my local shop is charging. So
that's crazy.
You could ask Sean how much.
What's the trend line?
Oh, the trend line year over year, as far as this year, we started in 2021 hitting about 197,000 hits per day. And now we're at about 220,000 hits per day.
Wow.
For the typewriter database. So It has gone up about 10%.
Cool.
So
Yeah, it's all
Right
text,
direction.
just like I
It,
said.
it could just be all me, like double checking and triple checking. It's all gone up because of me. 10%.
well, a lot of it is, people like you in the past year who've gotten interested, and
Mhm.
there's quite a few of you.
I sometimes am in there multiple times throughout the day. That's
We appreciate, Ted, what you do for us.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Definitely.
But that's 200K a day.
A day, yes.
Wow.
That's hits.
All right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I guess you have all these people selling typewriters now, and so they're going to search for a particular typewriter, and I'm sure the typewriter database comes up in that search. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, we have good search engine placement, so
I'm sure. Yeah.
we've been doing it for 10 years, 12 years, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it is firmly entrenched in Google's algorithms.
Yes.
You're a reliable resource.
Well, even my blog, it's been around for that long, and if I type up a typecast, even a typed typecast, and then I go and search for that, whatever search term was relevant to that page, a day later, I'm already at the top of the search
Wow.
term results. So it's just it's a matter of Google trusts those URLs. So
Yeah. Yep. Google loves you.
Google loves me.
Almost as much as we do.
Oh.
Why, thank you. Anyway, that's that. So
Very cool. Thank you for that
Thanks.
information.
Thank you.
information.
Yeah.
I saw
Go ahead.
Sean has a Gorham silver Corona there
Yes.
that
Yes.
I heard him talking about a little bit prior, but I
He
wonder
sold
why-
his house.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'd have to.
I sold my house to a slumlord, so I pay exorbitant amounts now just to buy typewriters.
But you got to do what you got to do.
Hey, I got priorities in there straight.
Hmm?
Oh
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
pretty machine.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh.
just trying to figure things out.
Somebody in this club has a trailer. You can join, Sean.
Yeah, sleep in his trailer with his typewriters.
Yeah. I think the bed is long gone though.
Yeah, well, he's moving into a real space now. He's already moved up. He's like, screw this mobile stuff. I want to plant myself somewhere. So
Yeah. I'm hoping that he's gonna check in with us at some point and maybe give us a little preview, but he's probably too busy for that. So
I was going to ask Ted how his German typewriter is that he got recently. How he's getting
Oh,
along with it.
I've had it on the desk all week, so that tells you something.
Yep.
I've been enjoying it, demossifying the case, and a little bit of bleach here and there. I put a sticker on the lid there so that it's now branded.
Yes. So you would rate this better than the Pontiac Aztec, right?
Oh, definitely. I do know someone who had one of those, and
horrible.
it was not a very impressive car.
No.
It
Yeah.
had a tendency
That's
to
the
shed
car that
parts.
Walter White drove in Breaking Bad.
Yep, yeah.
Oh.
Kind of a SUV style thing. Terrible, but
But
yeah.
I still need to go down to Bill's and get his whiteout sticks so I can fix this U-key.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they have a plasticine stick or something that you can rub on there, and it fills in the thing, and you can just wipe it off with a rag, and then it dries.
Could you just use a white crayon?
That would pretty much fall out. I think that's a
Yeah.
little too brittle.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Not quite the right tool for the job.
yeah. So I have been enjoying the Erika 10. I actually made a change to the database page for the Optima, because I didn't at that point realize that the Optima actually turned into the Erika 10 toward the end there in 1960.
Oh.
And so your Optima that you're typing on, I think you're typing on now, Joe,
No, this is the Smith Corona, but it's a
Oh,
brown. Yeah.
okay.
It's down on the floor there. Maybe I'll break it out later on the.
Yeah, that's an actual Optima based on
Oh.
the Olympia mechanics.
Oh,
And,
yes. Right.
This is a completely different machine. When I went back and rewatched your video, I was like, oh, that's completely different than what I've got.
Yeah, mine is based on the original Olympia prior to the breakup of the company from East Germany to West. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically an SM3 or an SM4.
Right. Right.
So.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
So is this a cult now? The Optima cult? Is this?
Well, the Erika cult.
The Erika cult. Yeah.
I've joined the John the Shy Typospherean, I think he's the Erika guy. So yeah, I've been. I mean, it's got weird controls, but it's a neat machine. One thing I really love about it is when you open it up, and if my video will catch up, it's a carriage shift machine, but the adjustment points are down here in the basket.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, you can get at them real easy, and it's kind of a shift forward or shift backwards kind of shift, and just all the adjustment points are right there under the the top cover. So it's an interesting design. I've been a little fascinated with it for a while.
I saw a video from somebody, I forget, one of the typewriter video people last week, and it was a big machine, and it was a carriage shift, but only the platen shifted. The whole carriage didn't go up.
That's the Alpina.
Alpina, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting. I think Brian Good's got one of those.
Oh,
and it's just the the platen part of it shifts up and down inside the carriage.
Yeah,
which seems to me like it would be a bear to adjust for ring and cylinder, but
yeah.
But it looks cool.
Yep.
And it's nice and light.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're getting along good with that, Erika.
Me too. I'm pretty happy about that. Since I'm really only getting typewriters from as either gifts or people, trade me services for them. I kind of have the time to invest in enjoying a machine when I get it, as opposed to, when I was thrifting, I would buy a machine and, I'd spend an hour or two poking around at it, and, then I was on to the next machine that I'd find.
Yeah.
Now I have actual luxury time to really, sit down and enjoy the machine for a while.
So maybe this is the subject of a future blog article for you, but I'm curious as to how you would rank all of your typewriters in terms of enjoyment of use.
Well, lately I have been really enjoying my Brother JP ones, the ones that I've, kind of Cadillac'd out. And I feel like that's a little prejudiced because they're just so easy to get out and use, and they're lightweight and they're fast, and I can put them back again, and it's just a really easy process to yank it out and type something on it and then put it away. Whereas a lot of the other machines, I gotta pull it out and put a ribbon in it and
yeah,
stuff like that, or it's a little heavy and I've got to clear off table space for it. And, I don't know. It's a matter of I enjoy different machines for different reasons, and I think a lot of my own personal affinity for a machine comes down to the experience I have with that machine. And a lot of them I'll pull it out and I'll just be thinking, oh well, I'll just try this for a while, and then I just fall in love with it again. And it's my new favorite machine. Kind of, I have this saying that it's like my favorite machine is the one that's in front of me.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
There's a lot of machines I don't like. But we won't cover those.
No.
I think Brian is showing his
yes,
his Alpina. There you go. Yeah.
A little farther away. So you can see better. It was like that.
There we go.
The
That's
carriage
very
return lever and platen and all the rollers and stuff go, but the rest of the carriage doesn't move.
Mhm. I could do that with my ears.
And then show one more cool thing.
Wow.
Oh, you broke it.
So where are the adjustments for the shifting? Are they easy to get to?
I don't know. See, they'd be on the carriage, so I have to take a look at it. I'm not sure.
How did that?
It's weird. Hold on.
Brian,
What's up?
how did you take that carriage off?
There's two little levers down in the body here. One's there, one's here, and you just push them to one side, and it pops right out.
Oh shoot! Okay, I'll
See if I can get it in though. That's the question.
Yeah, okay. I won't maybe take mine out until I see how you get it in.
Success is not as
You have to hold your mouth just right.
Yeah. You gotta have 6 hands.
Try to not to drop it off the cable while I do this.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
That's considered bad form. Or you're bending the.
Yeah, look
bend-
out
you're-
for the plastic things.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, I stuck that one under.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yep, there we go.
Ta-da!
Here's new.
Good thing those things are really flexible.
I know, my goodness.
Real easy to take the carriage in and out. And the
Probably
shift
why they put them on those springs.
Oh.
Anyways, that's the LP now.
That's the neat
You
design.
learn.
I was a little afraid I would start looking like this. Oh no!
I know.
The your the card guide, the plastic one in the front was bending down on the
Yeah, I
right
saw
side.
that.
Yeah.
We're all nervous for you.
It's fine.
He's fine.
I've done it before. It'll survive.
Yeah. And Brian, is there anything else new with you?
Not really. I'm still enjoying this SM9 Olympia that I got. I actually got at the antique store about a month ago. So this was very nice. When I was there, they had like 4 different typewriters, and I picked up one. And since then, I haven't seen any.
Yeah. For a while there, you were having some good luck at Goodwill.
Yeah. I've had good luck at Goodwill, but I think I probably take most of the ones that come up for sale. I go to Goodwills around here several times a week, so I get most of the ones that show up.
Oh, yeah, that's the way I used to do it.
Car, they're gone. So sorry, everybody.
Several trips a week. That's the way you gather a lot of typewriters in a very short time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the last one I got at a thrift store was my Royal. What's that called? It's Future 800, but not. It's the
the
Heritage Deluxe.
Heritage. Is that
Heritage,
the one with
yes.
the blue
Yeah,
on
Heritage
the inside of the
Deluxe.
case?
And I got that Typewriter Electric Smith Corona, and I got a lot of stuff at thrift stores.
Yeah.
And then at the antique shop, I got my Cold Steel and this SM9 and the Brother Webster XL 747.
Yeah.
So I have good luck there too.
Yeah.
Then I go out a lot looking for stuff.
That's the key, when I guess being in Arizona helps because I think in most other places in the country, Goodwill is sending all the good stuff to the auction site.
Yeah, I think they do that here. It's just that you gotta sometimes something slips through, and sometimes it's something good. So
yeah,
and especially the stores that have a lot of room, that have a lot of shelves to put stuff on, they'll say, "I don't want to box it up and send it, or just put it on the floor." It's like a lot of times you see big machines like Selectrics and Selectric 2s. You see things that you just don't want to bother with, and things that don't look that cool, that like newer stuff. I found a couple of Sears typewriters there that were brothers JP1s and stuff like that. So there are a lot that they it's not going to get them $1,000 on Shop Goodwill, but it's big and they don't want to move it. So
Exactly. Yeah. Excellent.
yep.
All right. Ken, how are you doing?
Well, I'm a little like you with the assignments in school. That's my deadline's February 15th, so I'm staying away from the Hermans and everything else till I get through this graduation. But I did have to take my car to the wash tub up there in New Braunfels up the road, and there's a little thrift shop right next door, which I saw this one case that looked promising, but it was a Smith Corona plastic daisy wheel electric. And man, I was surprised they weren't, it was like 75 for that. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't really like it in the first place, but especially not, not for that. But my wife, we went to an antique shop, killing time up the road from New Braunfels in a little town. And got she's been looking for a viola not a viola. What is it? Brian probably knows what I'm talking about, but it's, I know ELO had one. It's got a rod and it looks like a big violin, a cello. Okay. Cello. So we found one of those and she picked that up. On the way out, I found this, nothing as exotic as Sean's, but it's an old Smith Corona A2, and it's
nice.
65-900. So I guess it's 1938, something like that. And
Nice.
it actually works. I mean, everything. The only thing are these two keys here, kind of they hang. So I'm gonna have to work on they're right at the end. But I think it's Elite. I'm not sure, but it might be Elite. And but yeah, I was surprised. And I know it's nothing exotic, Smith Coronas are kind of like Chevys, I guess, from what I understand, but I like it because I like the keys, and it's the only other one I have besides the 4-row Underwood that has non-plastic keys. It has and it had this little thing. I guess it's from Houston, just up the road or over east of where I am. Oh, that's backwards, isn't it?
Not for us.
No, I can see it.
But anyway, it's a exchange, adding machine exchange place over in Houston, which I don't know if they even belong there anymore. But instead of TX, it's TEX. This is before they went to the 2-digit abbreviation for the states. So that's my new favorite one. It's I just love the way it types. It's just at least it's my favorite one this week anyway. It's my top one. So now I'm double digit. I've got 10 of them.
Ken, those are very desirable Coronas, the Speedline version. And that's one of the other reasons why I didn't want to show my typewriters, because I don't want anybody thinking they got to compare against. Those typewriters are just as good as these ones. It's just the body on it's a little different, but fundamentally we're working and talking about the same typewriter.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I don't want to be a collector that just collects them like you were saying, Sean. It's but the chance of getting an Erika or something like that. I think this is probably my first 10 is good, and then if I find something later. The only thing strange about this is it doesn't have the paper bail. It's got these little paper fingers, I guess what they call them.
You don't have there's no things on the back?
No, there's and
those are paper fingers.
What's that?
Yeah, the Sterling was a lower end model, so it
Paper
often didn't have
fingers.
one.
Yeah, it's not like the supers or the silent supers, whatever. It's like the lowest end, but kind of like it. You get used to not having that bail blocking the line above, which is it's all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But and it's from Houston, so that's kind of neat to at least have a little history to it, know where it's from.
Yeah, I love it when they have the dealer sticker on there. To me, that's like a big part of enjoying the typewriters is getting at least a peek at the history of the typewriter. So
Yeah, and there's an adding machine up there too. I don't know if anybody collects adding machines, but it's the old mechanical. I don't know, Brian, you don't collect adding machines, do you, Brian? If your dad was a bean count or a
Adding machines,
accountant?
no. I've got a he's got a Curta adding machine, little handheld crank one.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's all I've been up to. I can't afford to. I maybe go twice a month.
yeah.
If I'm caught up on my assignments, I'll go. But after October, I'll be back into the. Have a little more.
Excellent. But that's definitely a good pickup. That's a nice looking typewriter. Definitely.
Well, it was between what was it, like around 80. It was probably more expensive than most people would pay, but for me, I just like the looks of it, and you know, in 1938, 1939, I think was the best year, but 1938 was yeah, I mean, just because that's when the Inklings were around, a lot of things were going on in 1939. But this is, I didn't mind paying a little more for something that was, you know, the generic Smith Corona.
But, you know, to make you feel better, if you look at the prices online, you're going to pay a lot more than that. So
Oh, really?
Bucks isn't bad. Oh yeah.
And everything works except those last
Beautiful.
two keys.
Like it
Those
looks
are-
fantastic.
yeah, it does. Good job.
There's some stuff in the chat coming up about the California typewriter store. And Kimberly, you're in Toronto, right?
Yes.
If and you know, I share your feelings about Toronto typewriters. They've kind of become a local thing, but their prices are really high. There's a typewriter shop, and I haven't been there in like since before the pandemic for sure. And in Hamilton called Sigma Typewriters. And
I've heard of it, but they weren't answering their phones. I thought maybe they were closed.
well, it's one of those old typewriter stores. So Sigma Typewriters is run by a guy named Nick. If you Google Sigma Typewriters, you'll see there's been some articles in the press on him in the last 5 or 6 years, and he's probably getting close to 80 now. So I hope he's still okay. I hope he's still alive, and I hope the store is still there. But I did probably 3 or 4 years ago. I did go there, and I had to call several times to get a hold of him because he doesn't do the internet. And and I arranged for a time to be there because it was a bit of a hike for me from Toronto.
Yeah.
And I bought a little Hermes rocket, and I got a Brother Charger 11 for my daughter because she wanted to try a typewriter. And it's one of those sort of those places that, you know, you hope someone will come in and save, or maybe he'd get an apprentice or something and they'd save it. But you know, when we talk about how many typewriters there are, and like it's places like that, he must have hundreds and hundreds of typewriters there in various degrees of working condition. And if he passes away and no one takes course of it or take care of it, it'll either go to an auction or it'll go to landfill or something, right? And there's lots of these little caches of stuff out there where there are typewriters out there. It's just no one has access to them.
Yep, that's true. I think it's Greg Dutch that I believe one of his specialties is to go to these.
Yeah, he buys up entire typewriter shops.
Yeah.
Greg does, and he basically takes everything that's in there and parts it out and sells it on eBay. And I actually get a bunch of manuals from him from time to time, so he's a good source.
Excellent. Maybe we can get him on here sometime.
Yeah, he's a busy guy, but no, he'll be at the virtual Herman's. He's going to be doing a
big unveiling, of something cool.
And who is that?
Greg Fudech, anti-key chop, he calls himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a fairly big collector, and he's kind of made a business out of buying up old typewriter repair shops and selling off the pieces.
Well, Greg's got guts that I don't think most of us have. He's willing to spend an absolute ton of money to buy absolutely everything. just to
Mhm.
get one or two small things.
Yep.
like
Yep.
like his when he got that Royal Grand. I don't know if sorry, I'm blocking myself. For those of you who got the look at his website, the one typewriter he was really looking for years when I got into the hobby, he had this typewriter called the Royal Grand. It was Royal Typewriter's first typewriter that they ever produced. They didn't produce many of them. Something happened. Nobody really knows. I think it was a patent infringement
Big patent
issue.
infringement. Yeah.
Yeah, with Remington or somebody. So they canceled this like after not very many were made. And like a guy like Greg, I mean, he's seen it all pretty much. And he's like said, I've never seen one of these. I don't know. I assume they're out there somewhere. I'd love to find one. If you find one, let me know. Well, he found one, I don't know, 6 months ago, Ted, 6, 7, 8 months ago now.
Okay.
But he spent, he wouldn't tell me the amount, but he basically said he spent tens of thousands of dollars just to get that typewriter. So all of the rest of the stuff that he had to buy for this collection, he sold off,
Right, yeah.
you know, to, you know, make his money back, but also to have this one typewriter. So
Exactly.
good on him. But like, yeah. Oof.
Well, I know he even has a warehouse, I think, that he
Yeah.
stores stuff in, and he has employees that you know, catalog all this stuff, and
He's the true typewriter godfather. He runs an international typewriter racket that don't ever talk to the cops about it.
It's very smart. I mean, it does get a whole bunch of stuff back into circulation that probably would have just gone into a dumpster at you know, in earlier times.
Hey, Ted, since you're online right now, I'm going to show you. This is the Optima.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
In
like
the base.
Cappuccino, Joe, like a cappuccino
It is.
or a mochaccino. Or,
It is kind of like a mocha or a latte look to it. I like that analogy. In fact, I like the analogy so much that I'm going to go make me a latte right now.
That's a great idea.
In fact.
And bring it back.
Who are your
Let's
friends?
compare.
Yes, we will compare the color of it when we get back.
Very pretty machine. I don't have one
Yeah.
of those yet, but who knows?
And
Maybe,
this is
you know.
one that was gone over by John Lewis. So it types wonderfully, and he has I think a cotton ribbon in it, so it has a really dark imprint. I love it. So yep.
So you're gonna keep that one, or
oh yeah, this is a keeper for
Ted's
sure.
interested now.
Oh yeah, now he wants
Yeah, now he wants all of them. Yeah.
Ted's a believer now. He's a member of the cult.
Well, you know, I haven't experienced a lot of East German machines, so you know, and the way I buy machines, I don't really get a chance to see a lot of them, and so I think this is my first East German machine, other than the Groma Calibri.
Well, Ted,
And,
to be honest, we saw your excitement. Actually, I don't know if anybody else saw this, but we think of you, Ted, as somebody who's been around the block a few times. You've seen everything, you know, an absolute ton. We rely on you a bunch, but seeing you actually pull that sucker out last week and sort of go,
oh yeah.
And you got a little excited about it. It was like, it was fun to see.
One of those.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah.
So,
That was fun.
yeah, I actually, I mean, realistically, I have a collection of, 50 machines, and I've gone through, maybe 200 of them over my collecting years. And so I haven't really seen a lot of exotics. I tend to see a lot of very common machines, simply because I just don't go out and buy stuff on eBay or, online. So it is really exciting to run into something that you just don't see very often here in the local market.
Yeah, I tend to, I have the Optima and I have a Calibri, and I tend to really like what I've seen so far from the East German machines.
Mm-hmm.
I like them.
So if anyone wants to give me an Alpina,
if you don't mind a quartz, I'll send you a quartz.
I actually don't mind quartz. I have a Swissa that I mean, another one of those really exotic machines for the local market, but I love that little Swissa.
Yeah,
and it's a quartz. It's a Swiss quartz.
So where does the Optima come from? It looks like a Triumph or an Olympia. I think it's an Olympia. I don't know. Where does that come from?
It's Germany.
Yeah, Joe, that's
So that's the Optima is the original East German factory for Olympia. So before the war and during the war, Olympia was originally in eastern part of Germany. After the war, they were Soviet occupied. So 3 engineers from Olympia left with blueprints and went to West Germany and started the Olympia company in West Germany. In the interim period, the East German factory continued manufacturing under the Optima name. And then in the early 50s, there was a international court in The Hague trial, basically, or a ruling that said that Optima could continue to manufacture their products under the Optima name, and Olympia could manufacture under the Olympia name. And that's where you get that. So the Optimas are like, this one is an early Olympia design. The internals are like an SM3 probably, but the body is different, more rounded and stuff.
SM4. It's got the tassets.
SM4. Okay. Yeah.
I've heard of them before, but I've never really studied the lineage.
Yeah.
Looks
They
familiar.
seem to be built pretty well from what I can see. I mean, I haven't taken it apart or anything, but when I see about it, they're pretty nicely made.
It's a QWERTY or a quartz?
Oh, it's a QWERTY. Yeah. And in fact, both of my East German machines, this and the Calibri, are both QWERTY.
But British or American?
This
Pounds or-
one is American.
Wow.
Pseudo-American. I mean, it has a dollar sign and it has the quarter half fraction, but there's also a 3/4 fraction.
There's no pound, right?
Yeah, so the layout's slightly different than a standard American. And my Calibri is an American, but where the number 1 would be, it has an exclamation mark and a degree symbol. So I jokingly say it was made for a very excitable meteorologist.
I think all the Western keyboard Calibris have that degree sign. I know mine does, but
yeah. So they were making it for some generic Western market, but they were certainly making it for the export market, just like Soviet era cameras. Like if you get a Zorky, you can find them with Cyrillic lettering engraved on the bodies, or you can find them with, English lettering. Like mine is says Zorky. It's not in Cyrillic. So yeah, so they sold them. I think the ones with the English lettering were marketed through England, through London or somewhere in England. Anyway, so there was an export market for them.
I think maybe they were getting ready for the Western invasion.
Yeah, I don't know. So I have a sense that the East Germans were very proud of being German. Like I have a sense they weren't necessarily Soviet in their philosophy. They were occupied, but they were Germans first. They were very proud of their heritage and their engineering abilities, right?
I think
So
you're
like
right.
if you look at the Calibri, they went out of their way to make a beautiful typewriter. It wasn't the typical Soviet occupied, strict, pragmatic, AK-47 kind of, it's just going to work and be ugly. No, they went out of their way to chrome plate a lot of different parts, like the feet, the rims of the feet, and the little paper support arm, and all the little things. There's more chrome on a Calibri than on a lot of American machines. And the lines of it are very beautiful. And so they went out of their way to do that for aesthetic reasons, right?
Form equals function.
Yeah, form equals function, right?
You do know that AK-47s have chrome lined barrels.
Well, of course, yeah. I admit it was a poor analogy, but
But that's just because of the ammunition they fire is corrosive.
yes, exactly. They had to. But anyway, so the Germans are, have a great legacy of metallurgy, right, and all that, and so that goes all the way back to Gutenberg, right, which is the reason why he invented the idea of movable type, because his family was engravers, and so the idea of engraving these little die that you could cast lead into to make type pieces, that whole thing is metallurgy from that technology. So
technological.
The German typewriters, are there any with the currency symbol, like the German currency symbol? Because I have 2 quartz, and they don't have any dollar signs. Like they don't have the pound or the American dollar sign or the German currency sign. Did they not deal with money on portables?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been euros because these were done being made before euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I have
Post-war, Germans didn't have money.
There are marks. There are some with an M.
The
Deutsche
German
Mark.
Yeah, right.
German currency is the RM, the Reichsmark. So probably they just typed R.M.
So Kimberly, I've got a 1928 Corona 4 with a German. It's a QWERTY, but it's got a Reichsmark and a couple other German characters. So I
That's
think it
what I
might
was
have been
wondering. I've never
retrofitted.
with the right mark. Okay.
Yeah, it's just an R.M. like
Mhm.
Marvin said. But yeah, that's a Corona 4 and that's pre-war. But yeah, Ted sort of right. I think that they didn't really have money after the war, so I don't think, because I've never seen some currency after the war.
Interesting.
My Calibria has an F for Dutch florin.
Oh.
Yes.
It's the speed F, right? The speedy F.
The leaning F, yeah.
Fortissimo.
Fortissimo.
But yeah, East German companies exported a lot of their machines because they were looking for hard dollars, basically, for their economy. They wanted Western money because that was more solid than what they were dealing with in their own country. So that's why you see a lot of these machines labeled for the Western European and American markets. It was just they wanted money. And they
Go
had
where the
good
money
machines.
Yeah, but I have I have a good opinion of East German machines, of the small sampling that I've tested out. I think they seem to be pretty well made, within the limitations of their economy, obviously.
Yeah.
Even without those limitations, they're really good made machines.
they
Really
are.
well made machines.
Yeah.
Top quality materials.
Yeah.
I look at the case on this Erika, and it's just, man, there's so many layers of cloth and boards, and somebody spent a lot of time making this case.
Yeah, even the little leather case for my Calibri is wonderful. It has a little pouch in the top for putting paper and other things in, and it's really solidly stitched together. And then you look at a Western Europe, a Olivetti case, right? That falls
Olivetti,
apart.
they put it in a grocery bag.
Yeah, and it's like typical Western capitalism, right? Of cheap, shoddy construction for maximum profitability, and the Soviet-occupied East Germany is building much better cases. It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their stuff has to last because you can't replace, whereas we're a throwaway society. Their stuff had to be built to last. They can only get that one.
There's got a lot to be said for that, right? There is.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if you can see this. Right there.
We actually don't have video for you.
Say again. Oh, okay.
We just have your name floating in a field.
Thank you.
Hey, there you are.
You know, holding this thing up for nothing. So here where the 3 is.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you can see that.
No, I can't really see it.
It might be too.
It's
Yeah.
a little tough to see.
Here we go.
Yeah. This one's about a 1930.
Pretty.
That's a pretty machine.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I have a Triumph. I have a later Triumph. I have the Norm 6, smaller portable, but good machine.
They're good, yes.
Yeah.
And that one's in really excellent shape. It's only got one catch to it. Sometimes the margin turns itself off if I'm typing too hard or something. I haven't looked into that. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about Ted's sticker on his Aztec. What is the history with that sticker?
Oh, that's my branding. That's my
What's
my
the
mark?
It's cool. But what does it mean?
It means, well, I don't know. It means me. That's my
his little
head.
logo.
A skeleton with a fez.
My fez.
It's a Shriner fez or something with a skull.
And Ted's a Grateful Dead fan, so it was a perfect mix of his Shriner background and his Grateful Dead love.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was just a guess.
It's just a graphic that I've used forever for, denoting it's like my personal chop.
That's very interesting. I like it. It sure didn't took about a week to get it on the Aztec.
Oh no, I got like 3 sheets of these stickers that Glenn Crookston sent me.
Nice.
It was like, I wanna use that logo on, I want to put that logo on some of my typewriters, and I was like, okay. So I sent him the SVG or the PNG of the original art. And he made stickers and sent me 3 sheets of them. So
Is that the state sort of as the background there too?
The logo with me carrying a typewriter with the Arizona.
Yeah,
state
no,
flag.
I know that's
Yeah.
Arizona, but is the like on your sticker, it's shaped sort of oddly. Is that the shape of the state?
No,
I guess.
that's
No.
just like a kind of a bamboo type background
Mm.
with sparkles and a little swirly behind it. So
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like a
it's
placemat
design
from
element.
a tiki bar placemat.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Does the red tassel move to the other side if you graduate from something? Or?
no, it always hangs in front.
Okay.
You always have to hang your tassel in front.
When you make a mistake, it moves over.
That's a uniform rule right there.
So you have to be in uniform. Okay.
Mhm.
That is the uniform, yeah.
Maybe if I find me a Shriner's fez in a thrift store, I'll have to wear it, buy it and wear it just for you, Ted.
Oh well, I've already got one.
Yeah.
I've got my.
Can you put it on?
regimental. Got my
Put it on?
regimental fez.
Put on your regimental fez.
You can have the belt.
Oh, Jake's got it on right now, so
Okay.
let's see. Well, I can't really put it on over my headset, but
Yeah, you
Okay.
can.
that's it right there.
Oh,
Maybe
neat.
I have to actually
Nice.
turn it toward the camera.
Mahi.
Wow.
Is
Does
it
say-
is it wool?
Yes, it's very hot.
It's good for Arizona climate in the summer.
Exactly.
Not at all. No.
Does it say mahi on it?
Yes, it does.
So that's half a fish.
You could put it that way. Yeah. So anyway,
Hold on.
that's-
We all ought to get our little head fezzes out.
Oh, look at
There you go.
there you go.
that. Reminds me of Morocco.
That's funny. And I think Sean has one too, don't you, Sean?
I don't have a proper fez. I've got a different version, of more of a North African version. But I need the proper red fez because I saw some pictures years ago, and even though we talk about Moroccan and sort of Ottoman, it's a very Victorian smoking outfit to have one of those smoking jackets with your slacks on and then a red fez and your pipe sitting in your library after hours talking about, the state of the gold standard. That's really what I want to get to at some point, even though we have no gold standard to talk about. But no, I don't have the proper one like those guys do.
Wasn't England at war with Algeria? Is that where they got it?
Well, everybody, at some point or other.
That's called
I don't know about
colonialism.
Fezes, Sean, but you're just freaking me out with that beautiful typewriter you're working on.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've got it working now. The carriage is going, the space bar is fixed. I'm typing to look at the horrible type alignment, so I got more work to do. And I'm going to polish it here soon so you can see the shine come through.
Nice.
Is it like a Royal P or something?
No, it's a flat top Corona.
Corona.
It's the sterling in 2 senses of the word, the model and what it is. So I think, it's the very first that they, produced to sort of launch the flat top series after the 4.
That's stock?
Yeah, that's stock Gorham silver shell and then first gen flat top.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's super neat.
How much does it weigh?
No, actually not much more. It's plated. I mean, it looks like it was sort of all silver. Like, I know it's hard to sort of see, but when I first pulled it off, I thought, well, maybe the whole thing is made of silver, but it wouldn't be. It would just be metal plated.
Yeah. Silver would be too
It would be
soft.
too soft, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Nickel
But
plated?
it's a clip-on as opposed to the later one started putting a hinge on, but it's got its oh god, it's got its little
Oh, wow.
medallion there.
Is that nickel
it's
or
sterling,
silver plated?
It's
Silver,
sterling
silver.
silver.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's marked on the back with all the silver's hallmarks. The Gorham company at the top in the middle there. Sorry for my fingerprints. So it's got the silver hallmarks and then
Wow.
Gorham sterling on it.
How'd you find that?
I begged and pleaded with a lot of folks, and then I always end up back at Greg. like to Ted's point earlier, I have to help Greg buy lots of stuff. So
He's got everything.
That's a keeper for sure.
yes.
And if it's ever not, let me know.
If it's ever not a keeper, I will let you know. Rich, save your money, man.
I know, right?
Start saving now.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
but now you need the maid to polish it.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a lot of grandma silver and I hate polishing. It's the worst chore out of all the household chore. I hate them all, but it's the worst one.
Oh.
This would change your opinion of that because I'm looking forward to doing the wipey thing.
Maybe, yeah. Forks, yeah. Silverware, not fun. Not fun.
Have you
It'd
got
be
your
a
white
labor of
gloves?
love.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I was saying he could transport the typewriter on a silver tray
Yeah.
with white gloves, of course.
Yeah.
Just another thing to polish.
With the spotted tea.
Well, yeah, it's and it's always going to get it's all tarnished again, right? Just like silver.
Yeah.
So
The air just makes it tarnish. Yep. Yep.
I will only polish it when I have guests over, and then I just have to sort of, I don't know, leave it.
Sean, what kind of case does it have?
Actually, unfortunately, it didn't come with a case. The case is long since gone, so I'm going to have to just get a standard, Corona flat top case with the little button in the front with the little bar that unlocks, because that's how this one goes. I just need to find an empty case and then use it for that. But I would have hoped in my imagination that they would have been a nicer, fancier finished case than the normal, but who knows? Ooh, wood.
If you nitrogen purge the case, it'll keep it from tarnishing the typewriter.
Oh.
It'll keep the air off the typewriter.
Yeah.
Just put it in a plastic bag, purge it with nitrogen, seal it up.
Oh, wow.
Vacuum pack it.
You need an airtight case, Sean.
Oh boy, you guys are asking me to raise my state of art to a point that I'm
The
not
vacuum
at yet.
attachment.
It
Yeah.
needs an aluminum case.
The tarnish actually look quite pretty. It starts to look like candlelight. Like I don't mind the early stage of tarnishing where it's sort of goldeny, but then it goes really fast to go that ugly brown, like rotting look.
Yeah. Actually, if you get one of those, what is those high-tech aluminum shipping, the cases? What is the brand name?
Oh, the
Pelican.
Pelicans?
Pelican, get a metal aluminum Pelican case, maybe.
And then you just
A Halliburton case.
A Halliburton case, yeah, something like that.
yeah, I'll have to figure out a solution. I mean, yeah, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. So
You remember those action movies from the 70s where it was like the sniper guy gets up in the hotel room with his fancy case and he opens up the briefcase and there's like his gun he puts together in little pieces, and you could do that make a short movie with the typewriter. You walk in with your case, your Halliburton case, click, 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 have your dark shades on like 007 and
dark shades, dark suit, and a fez.
And a fez, yeah, because that way you won't stand out in the crowd.
No.
No, we didn't see a guy coming through here with a aluminum Halliburton case and a fez.
Yeah.
So this is a suitcase from, I want to say the 50s.
Oh.
I wasn't sure what to do with it. I was thinking a typewriter. I mean, it's
Oh
something-
yeah.
have to redo the lining. But,
Wow.
With the
Oh,
Raven,
foam.
that would be a perfect typewriter case.
Yeah, I had a Hartman pigskin suitcase that I got from a thrift store that fit a wide carriage Olympia SM9 perfectly, and that SM9 I got didn't have a case, so that ended up being the case. And we gave that to my wife's niece. She still has that. But.
works.
I took this thing to Dubai.
Eric.
Yeah.
And I wanted to wear comfortable clothes. I was coming back from Dubai, and I looked like a drug dealer, had a Hawaiian shirt on and real comfy linen pants, and they pulled me off the plane.
Oh.
Through my case.
Oh.
Oh, you look the
Typewriter
part.
in it?
No, I did have a typewriter though,
Oh,
with me on that trip. They weren't crazy about that either, but
Oh man.
amazing.
Rubes.
they love the typewriter in Amsterdam though.
Oh.
That
the Dutch are
security,
really-
they all type me notes in I guess Dutch and let me figure it out when I got home.
Okay, so does anyone want to hear my really bad dad joke about Amsterdam?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Okay, what's the difference between Amsterdam and Hamsterdam? In Amsterdam, they ride bikes. In Hamsterdam, they ride little bitty bikes.
I'm gonna go make me some espresso. I'm sorry, I'll be back.
Kept to your
Well, you got
promise.
rid of Joe.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, that's good.
Say it again, Sam.
So Ted, is there anything new with you?
Well, I just signed up for the virtual Hermans 2, so I'll be doing a little. I guess I'll be doing a little. What is it? The like marketplace.
A vendor fair.
Vendor fair. That's it. Yeah, and I signed up to watch your and Joe's segments. So
excellent. Thank you.
We'll be watching you. I guess I'll have to miss Greg. So Greg Fudach, because he's on the same time as either you or Joe. But
yeah, it's hard, right? It's not a popularity contest, but we want to support our Typewriter Club folks. But there's so much good stuff happening.
Oh yeah.
I certainly hope they
recorded, right?
Yeah, I hope they record his thing because I still
Yeah.
want to see it. But I wanted to, be live with Gregory here so that we can support him.
Oh,
So
wow.
He's got someone to talk to.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
There'll be so many people in the room that Gregory won't even know what to do about it.
Be a DVD.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and you're enjoying your Aztec.
I am. I'm enjoying my
Nice.
Aztec.
Nice.
Oh, let's see. I just found a sheet of paper that my wife was using as a backing sheet for, like, she was using it to paint something else on top. So
Oh,
it was like
wow.
the over paint thing, and then she used it for like color swatches and stuff. And then I saw this paper and I was like, oh, I want to type on that.
Wow.
So that's kind of a neat piece of paper that I found.
Yeah.
And
Almost like stained glass.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by the not only the colors but the texture. It's got a lot of texture to it.
Wow.
And that feeds pretty good through this Erika, or Aztec.
Nice. Nice.
Let's see what else. Oh, doing a little writing. Worked on the typewriter database a bit. I put in a new page for Panasonic. So if you're interested in dating your Panasonic electronic wedge, we figured out that that's got a date code in the serial number.
Ooh.
And so now you can date those down to the month.
Wow.
As if
Would that
cares,
hold
but-
would that hold true for because I'm forever on the search for one of the Panasonic thermals. Do you know if those would also have that date code?
That I don't know. I saw one Panasonic machine that was a thermal that didn't have a serial number that corresponded with that, but I didn't know whether it was entered in wrong or, it could have been the guy put in a different number that was on the machine. So
Yeah.
it's difficult to say one way or the other whether that code holds true for the thermals.
Okay.
But I don't know why they would switch to a completely different serial numbering scheme just for a different type of machine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that. We made a little advancement in knowledge. Still trying to validate my silver Seiko theory, but it looks like it's holding up.
What was your silver Seiko theory, Ted?
The first number of the serial number is the last digit of the year. Because I came up with that because I was noticing that the early ones started in the 7 millions, and then in 68 they went to 8 million, 69 it was 9 million, and then by the time 71 happened, they were down to 1 million again. And so either they flipped the numbers or they rolled it over. They started at 7 million in 1967 for some reason, and then rolled it over by 1970 to 1 million again. So, I mean, that just screams date code to me.
So I've got a Royal Silver Seiko, I believe that's by Lytton. I'm not
Yes.
quite sure I understand the difference between those names.
Lytton was the
200.
company that owned Royal at that time.
And then what's the Silver Seiko?
Silver Seiko was owned by, well, they weren't owned by Royal. Royal just bought machines from them.
So Silver Seiko was a separate company that Royal bought from, and then Lytton bought Royal.
Lytton owned Royal.
Lytton
It's
owned
like the
Royal.
holding company.
So this, and I was cleaning up my database yesterday, and I couldn't get any deeper than 1970 something. And it does start with 1 million. So it's 1787665. So your theory would make this a 71.
Yes. And I've actually confirmed that with the actual records. If you go back to the OMEF, you'll see that pattern holds true in their numbers, even though they kind of state it as this is a series and they show the serial numbers for each year. The leading number always matches the year.
Wow, crack that code. Thanks, Ted.
Yeah. And also, like, I have machines that have sales receipts that verify that they're from that year. So it's getting pretty convincing.
And it actually types really well. I like using it.
They're good machines.
Yeah.
They're loud machines, but they're good machines.
It's very good.
Excellent.
So I have an Excel spreadsheet where I kind of get anal. I list all my typewriters and information about them. And I've got places like for the year, but where I have a 197X, I have to make it highlight yellow so I can know I still have to find it. So what you just did, Ted, is let me change that yellow.
There you go.
Problem solved. I still got a couple more. I've got some privileges. I can't put a year to. I think they're 70s, and I've got one Adler Gabriel 10 that I can't put a year to. So,
What's the serial number?
The Adler? It's
Hold
5.
on. Actually, let me get there first.
Yeah.
Because I won't remember it.
It's probably my worst typer right now because it doesn't work well.
So that's a Gabriel 10.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the serial number?
57116522.
The suspense is palpable.
I know.
Drum roll, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing. It looks like they did a serial number switch right when that would happen.
Oh.
My thought, though, is oftentimes you can, during that 60s period when Adler and Triumph were merged, sometimes you can go to the Triumph serial numbers.
Like that.
And check that same model because they started to merge their models together.
I actually have a Triumph Gabriel 10 also. But,
5.
which I think is a 65. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, is that 5 million?
For Adler, yes.
Okay, so.
Oh, wait. 522. It looks like 57. Yeah, 57 million.
Okay. So you're talking like a 9-digit number, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-digit.
Okay, yeah, that's way out of range.
Oh well.
I'll double check and go back in again.
Yeah, that doesn't correspond to anything I have, so.
That's why it's yellow.
There you go. Well, I thought I'd try.
Maybe if I put it in right, it might turn white. I'll double check that.
Yeah, double check and see if you got too many numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because that makes no sense at all.
So the Triumph 10, the Gabriel 10 I have for the Triumph was the first machine I bought in modern day for me. And I found that for like, I forget, 12 euros, 12, that's about maybe 15 bucks. And at a thrift store, it worked so well. It just like sucked me into the typewriter thing. It was that one that did it.
Yeah, they're nice machines. Triumphs have, like, I have a Triumph Perfect, 1962, and the touch on those is so light, and the carriage is so smooth and
wonderful. Yeah,
I love those machines.
I also have another big Matura Standard. I don't know if you've ever seen those before.
Yeah,
they're huge. They're boat anchors.
Yeah.
And I remember buying it. It works. If I remember right, it worked completely. But I bought it at a flea market. And the biggest problem with buying it is I had to carry it to my car. It needed wheels, maybe a little motor.
Yeah.
I got an Adler that's pretty much the same as that, just another big boat anchor, and just phenomenal machines, what they put into them.
Yeah, but a lot of those, like the Adlers, have the cast aluminum shell, the big Adlers, and they kind of have square edges on the bottom, which they cut. You carry that machine, and it just cuts your fingers.
Oh,
I'll have to watch out if I move it around. Fortunately, it doesn't inspire me to move it around.
It doesn't. They're pretty. Set them down and leave them there.
Yeah. Excellent. I saw earlier. I saw Joe. It looked like he was putting on his socks, and now we lost his video.
He was making mocha. He's making.
Oh, okay.
Cappuccino or something.
Okay.
Socks?
Oh, there's his video.
Yeah, I am. I have some latte here. I don't know.
Earlier, were you putting on your socks?
Yeah, it got cool outside.
Okay.
And so I'm getting cold here in my room.
Yeah.
Well, my wife reminded me it's kind of stupid to walk around in sandals in the wintertime when it's like 20 degrees outside or something.
Oh my God, I would so do that.
Solidarity, sandals and socks, guys.
There you go.
Yeah. So I was just continuing to enjoy. I haven't typed on the Optima in a while, and I just enjoy how well it types. But I was also typing to myself that I have this pack of this is Strathmore newsprint paper. This is the kind of paper you use for sketching and charcoal drawing, and it's 9 by 12 inches. But I cut it down to letter sized, and I really like the look of the paper. And it actually works on a lot of different kinds of machines. Like, for instance, the Smith Corona Silent that I had earlier today is a really super hard platen, and some of the letters don't make a really good impression, right? So on this toothy, fibrous kind of paper, it works really well. It'll soak up a lot of ink from a ribbon, but also at the same time, this dark ribbon doesn't get too inky on this paper. It seems like a really nice paper for typing on. It's almost as thick as construction paper, so it doesn't really need a backing paper. So it's kind of nice. I like it.
I like to take those 9 by 12s and cut them in half. And for me, 6 by 9 is like the ideal size for a letter. I just love that size, so I just cut it in half.
That's a good idea. I might have to do that.
Yeah,
I got a whole pack of that, and so it's kind of fun to explore different kinds of papers to find what's works good for a typewriter. Like my KMM over here really likes super thin paper. Like almost like airmail or tracing paper. It seems to work really well with that.
Wow.
And if the newsprint doesn't work out for that, you can always use it to wrap your fish and chips.
Yeah.
Well, there is a kind of newsprint looking paper that I see used as packing paper, and you can buy it in big rolls or big sheets or whatever. And that paper is a little different than this. That paper, the tooth on it is smoother, where this has a real fibrous kind of look to it. But I like
butcher
that paper. Yeah, it's like butcher paper, brown, like light tan colored butcher paper. I've received shipments in, and sometimes that paper is not too wrinkled, and I'll actually cut it down into sheets and type with it. That's pretty good paper actually for typing.
Yeah.
Like a cold press versus a hot press paper.
Yeah, probably cold press would be the or hot press would be the smoother.
Right, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So
Excellent.
Yep.
Michael,
my-
how are
my-
you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just sort of have a day off here. It's too cold to do any archery today, and
Oh,
last couple of weeks I was busy with either family or actually a little bit of work, so I wasn't able to make it in here. But glad to be here today. I'm just we did get out this week to look at some antique malls and thrift stores. We hadn't been to them in a while, so we sort of hit all of them within driving distance and around, and saw a lot of typewriters I didn't buy. I did buy this one little Remington the other day, but also, saw stuff like a letter of 25 that I didn't buy just because it's kind of plasticky and just didn't move me, even though it was a good price. But everything's going well here. It's kind of, it's winter here, but it's Virginia winter, so it's not terribly bad. We had one night got down to 13, but today it's in the 30s, so it's still kind of chilly for us. But
yeah. Yeah.
I
Excellent.
got one little thing. I don't know if you all probably read Oz Typewriter, I guess, his blog, but he had a little thing about the newspaper that they have, the copy spike, which of course this one's probably like a receipt spike, but there was an article in the New York Times, which apparently this is what they used back in the old days. So
Yeah.
picked one of these up and just use it for scrap paper and
I
things like
think
that.
they call that a spindle, as in do not fold, spindle, or mutilate.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense.
Oh.
Keep your eye out with that.
I have one of those, and I was saving, like I would write certain ideas and spindle it, right?
Yeah.
And ended up with this spindle with all these papers stuck on it, and it's kind of interesting. I don't really use it anymore though, but I went through the spindle phase in my office supply junkie journey.
You only
A lot
have
of
to
fun
stab
there.
yourself once, and then you never do it again.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, or God forbid you lean down and poke your eye with it or something.
Oh.
Yeah, this one isn't very sharp, and I thought about sharpening it, and I figured, no, maybe I just better leave it as it is, because it'll get through paper, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll protect me any, but
Safety first.
Well, you wear glasses.
Yeah.
well,
Exactly.
yeah. Except of course these are not safety glasses, but
I use it for my receipts that I have to keep for my business.
Oh, wow.
there you go.
I'm full.
Wow. Yeah.
You're running out of space there.
Newspaper
Yeah,
used to
looks like
spike a
little-
story.
But it does maintain a chronological order. That's one thing about it, right?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
Well, that was my filing system when I worked. It was that everything was sort of in a stratified pile, and I knew things were chronologically ordered there. So
Well,
eventually I'd have to file everything.
my theory has been that the pile evolved into the file. The pile was vertical and the file is horizontal.
Right.
If you take the pile and turn it around and stick it in a drawer, that's a file now.
There you
You're
go.
saying they invented the file when they knocked over their spindle?
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Yes.
I'd be afraid to keep that on my desk. I figure one big sneeze and it's all over.
All over, yes.
Now, did they have filing cabinets before they had typewriters? That's the question.
They probably had filing cabinets before typewriters. I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
they had to deal with papers somehow.
Oh yeah.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
You make a lot more paper with typewriters than you would before that. So
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's very true.
Or they might have bound their handwritings into books, manuscripts, and put them in bookcases. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Or spindles.
Someone should do a research on the history of the filing cabinet. That's a good.
Who might that be?
there is an
Jeff?
article out there somewhere that I've read, but I don't recall it well enough to answer the question.
Maybe books were done on spindles in the old days. Kind of hard to take it anywhere in your pocket though.
Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
Well,
uncomfortable.
a scroll would fit on a spindle. You could just store them vertically like that. So
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Interesting.
By the way, Joe, I saw a typo on the Virtual Herman site.
Oh, you did?
They misspelled his name.
Oh, darn it. I'll have to go look and we'll have to notify David about that.
Yeah. Oh.
Tell the authorities.
That's right.
And anything else new with you, Michael?
Well, I could talk about this typewriter, but then I've written the typing prompt about it, so it can go.
If you're ready to read the typing prompt, go for it.
Well, this is the
Let me zoom
typewriter.
in on you here.
Remet.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
Anyway, Remington made this Remet typewriter in 1941 as part of their long series of similarly styled portable typewriters that go back to the 1920s. Well, many, like the Portable 5, have lots of features found on larger machine. This one is a very basic machine. It has no bell, no bichrome ribbon, no tabs, and no paper bail or even paper fingers. This one came from an antique mall about 45 minutes away from here. Of course, it took 2 trips and lots of research for me to buy it. It had plenty of dirt inside, but the air compressor took care of most of that. All the rubber was dry and hard. I managed to replace the front feed rollers with vinyl tubing. This made the machine able to feed paper. The typing action is smooth and snappy, but loud because of the rock hard platen. Since they made the outside body panels from thin sheet metal, it may benefit from some sound padding. Unfortunately, because of the hard platen, the keys sometimes perforate the paper and ribbon. I will either have to have the platen recovered with new rubber or apply a layer of heat shrink tubing. It has a 12 CPI type pitch, some of the smallest letters I've seen. Has a nice, comfortable typing touch, even with the carriage shift. I think I will probably replace once I replace the rest of the rubber, I will get plenty of enjoyment from this machine.
Excellent, excellent. And I really enjoyed the look of those, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to the other Remingtons, and I don't have one of their other portables, so this is the first sort of Remington portable, but it cleaned up nicely. I mean, it had some sort of red stuff on it that kind of made it look like rust, but then when I got it, it was sort of looked like nail polish, because there's some around the keys that somebody tried to get off, I think. But
yeah, I just really like how the type bars are just right up there at in line with the case, and it I don't know, it really adds to the look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think when I put
the geared Remington system is really nice to type on.
Yeah, it really is. I assume the perforating of the ribbon is just from the hard platen, I guess.
Yes.
Because I can't.
You're just ripping holes in your ribbon when you do that, or cutting holes, especially with an elite typeface. You've got such thin lines on the typeface itself that it's like a razor blade going through the.
Yeah. Now, would heat shrink solve this problem, or do you have to really just get it recovered?
Well, okay, here's the thing. If you do heat shrink, you're adding diameter to your platen. Right. So that actually brings the platen closer to the typeface. And so the typeface will go through your ribbon, through your paper, and into that rubber. You can actually just wreck that rubber. So you have to do a ring and cylinder adjustment if you add a layer of rubber to the platen, so that you bring the cylinder back away from the typeface so it just kisses. Otherwise, you're just slamming that type bar straight into soft rubber and right through your paper and ribbon.
Yeah, no, this doesn't seem to have a convenient ring and cylinder adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something in there that I have to sort of really, I think I'd have to take out all the other adjusters, and then I can get the thing up high enough to turn some of the screws so you can't get to.
Yeah, so basically you have to ask yourself, is it worth $75 for me to take all this thing apart just to put a sleeve on it, or should I just take the cylinder out and send it off to JJ Short?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That's your equation there that you have to figure out.
I haven't had anything covered yet by them, so maybe this will be the first one.
Honestly, you will love it.
Yeah,
you will love it if you do it. If you do that, especially on an older machine like that. I have a 33 Remington portable, 1933 Remington portable, that was in perfect condition except for the rubber was all just rock hard.
Yeah.
And that was the first machine I ever sent to Ames to have the rubber redone, and that was back when Ames was still a thing.
Yeah.
And that machine is so nice now. The older machines that have that kind of really firm typing feel. When you
Yeah.
put fresh rubber on them, oh, they just feel like magic.
Mhm.
It's a huge difference.
Now, do you have them do the feed rollers, or do you just use tubing for that?
It depends on how bad the feed rollers are. I've only done feed rollers on that Remington because they were actually flat and cracked.
Yeah.
But on other machines, like I have the Swissa, it's a 1961, so it still has good feed rollers. But I replaced the platen,
Yeah.
and I have a couple Coronas that I've put new platens in. But the feed rollers were fine.
Yeah,
So
these
it
are,
depends on the condition.
yeah, the front ones were just flat and they were no good. So I found some vinyl tubing that more or
Yeah.
less fit.
If I had to make that choice, in the future, if I send in a platen for a machine and the feed rollers also need to be done, I would probably just do them myself.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive to do those little rollers, but
Yeah, that's what I figured.
it's an easy thing to do yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can see them, so.
Right. The front ones you can see, but it doesn't look too bad with the brass
Yeah,
underneath.
it's nobody's going to notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's an example of torn ribbon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
Like
bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
Hard platen it'll chew right through a ribbon.
Of course, how old is that ribbon too?
Well, yeah, that's true. It's interesting if I can get the light to reflect just so you can see the back and forth marks.
Yeah.
How it zigzags across. It's probably more visible on this end. You can see how the type has gone back and forth across the ribbon. You can actually see the ribbon action.
Wow.
But that is the ribbon that's probably not easy to replace, is it?
It is, at least for now. as long as Baco ribbon's around, yeah.
Yeah, Baco, yeah.
Yeah, and this was an old ribbon I got out of the trash pile came from another typewriter because I didn't want to spoil a new one. So it's a little old too.
Yeah.
But it's gone through the paper too sometimes. Although when I typed on it just now, it seemed to be pretty good. So
Excellent.
A new platen works wonders.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have new platens on several of these Smith Premiers and the 1899 one that's my speed typer. It's great with new rubber. And it kind of looked like a corn cob beforehand because you could see the imprints of not the you could see the square imprints of like the type slugs themselves. So I mean that platen was beyond worn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Starting to crumble.
yeah.
Well, actually it hadn't. It was just hard as a rock.
Wow.
It had not really crumbled per se. It was just petrified.
Oh boy.
I do that after a while.
I have a typing prompt finally.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
There we go. Oh. There we go.
Wow.
So this is the 1902 Smith Premier number 5. It is an upstrike or blind typewriter. The keyboard has 84 keys arranged in a grid as opposed to the staggered arrangement of the modern QWERTY keyboard. Other features of this machine include a 9.5-inch writing line, a nice wide platen here. A built-in circular brush in the bottom of the type basket, which can be used to clean the type. This is done by use of a removable crank, which unfortunately many of the cranks do not exist. Another advantage is a platen which can be easily removed. The platen swings upward to reveal the writing line without having to raise the entire carriage. The Smith Premier ribbon moves in a zigzag pattern so that its entire surface is used, reducing wear and extending ribbon life. The ribbon size is 1 3/8 inches wide. The machine has key tension, carriage release. It does have carriage tension. I had to remember where it was. The ribbon does have a auto reversing mechanism.
Wow. Excellent.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yep. Very good.
And it actually survived being shipped.
Oh my goodness.
As did this one right next to it. I was scared to death, and if I can avoid it, I will not do that again. They both got here, but I was a nervous wreck, and I don't think I can do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, it was. I'm happy that they got here. This is one of the older. I think according to the numbers in the database, they started the number 5 in 1900. So this is an earlier model.
Wow.
The right
Can I
hand
ask-
carriage.
Can I ask a question about that machine?
Sure.
Why is that ribbon so big? Does it uses different spaces on the ribbon?
The mechanism, well, I don't really know, but I know whenever you use the mechanism, let's see. It's one of these things I'd love to get in a video. The ribbon mechanism, it moves back and forth this way, but it turns and moves this way as well. You know, it moves left to right as well as front to back. I don't know why they did it that way.
To get more mileage out of the ribbon. That's the same way the Selectric works.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, if you look at a Selectric when it's typing, it'll go up and down on the ribbon, and that's how it uses a 9/16 ribbon, or it's 9/16, something like that. But it goes up, and it's about 3 levels. It'll go up, and then it'll go back down again, up and down, and up and down. And on a Electric One, it doesn't do that, like a fabric ribbon Selectric One, but it has a switch, a 3-position switch, so you can change it back and forth. But all the carbon ribbon Selectrics have an up and down movement on the ribbon as it's going. So it just maximizes the amount of mileage you get out of a ribbon.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I need to replace the rubber on this. Clearly, it doesn't want to feed right, but
oh yeah.
Oops, I jammed it. Not ideal, but
You need a de-jammer key if you have to
yeah,
take the carriage off.
my
Just
finger.
Wow.
That's interesting. And it goes in very small increments too.
It does. It's hard to see. Oh yes, and that's my favorite. That's my favorite thing of all is the sound of that bell.
Well, look at the size of it.
Yeah, I know they don't make them like that anymore. But boy,
Like recess.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Oh my goodness.
so that's kind of how it moves. Yes, I would love to be able to get that visible in a video. Obviously, I just did.
You just did. Maybe I'll cut it out and send it to you, and you can start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So Diane, I'm thinking now that we're going to have to start a new craze. We're going to have to upgrade the typewriter bells to giant gongs. And whoever has the loudest, biggest gong is going to be the winner.
Well, you can see how big it is.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's shiny too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was just shining it up a little bit, trying to clean it off. Heaven
You did a
forbid I
good
actually
job.
get things cleaned up in time for a that beauty contest, because there's no way in heck I'll do that. But hey, it does look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
But can't beat that. It's funny. I've
That's
actually
Star-
seen.
Oh, that Star Wheel is as big as the bell.
I know, huh?
Well, not quite.
It looks like one of those ninja throwing stars.
It does. Yeah, it kind of does. I've actually found there's a different style of bell now that I've noticed on my 3, which is the one behind. It's back here it's back there on the desk. The bell is actually on the side, and it hits from out, and the clapper hits on the outside of it.
Oh.
And I'd never seen that before. And it's like, yeah, on all the Smith Premiers, that's different. But that one actually has something else. I've only seen it in the manual, is like a touch regulator. And it's a little mechanism here. I've seen it in the manual, but that machine is the first one I've actually seen it on. And I haven't been able to get it loosened yet. It seems to operate by you pull this thing out and you move it, but it's seized up pretty well. And I really don't, I'm not messing with it right now, because honestly, I've never really been able to tell the difference on these, even on the modern machines, the touches, they all feel pretty much the same to me. But it'd be nice if I could get it to move, but I haven't been able to do that. I'm sorry?
I just said the joy of typewriters.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Well, if you want a unique bell, you'll look up the 1959, 1960, 61, 62 Royal Electric Standard. It's a bright white machine, kind of squarish with a big black royal across the front of it. But I call them the twin chime. It has a bell that's a big bell with a little bell embedded inside of it. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
like a harmonic tone when it rings.
Huh.
It's the only typewriter that has that. So if you see one and it's like trashed, buy it anyway and steal the bell out of it and put it in your favorite machine. It's got a harmonic bell in it.
Wow.
So you get your own ringtones.
Yep.
For a typewriter.
Or you could fashion, your own homemade bells. No, it's not
See,
hard.
I
to
think
make a bell.
if you fashioned an external bell, like a big harmonic gong thing on a little wooden base, and you set it on your table next to your typewriter, and you wire up your manual typewriter so the clapper and the bell on your typewriter just makes a circuit, and it triggers a battery to solenoid on this external bell to bring.
You're making it too complicated, Joe. You just need to set the gong next to your typewriter so that the carriage runs into it and hits
Oh, I
it.
like that. Okay, that's a good solution. Much simpler.
Or you could use like
Or a coffee cup. You can always put a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you get a crash at the end.
You could steal
my
your,
problem with that is that my carriage is too high. It doesn't do that. Remember, Joe, Kevin, and I did that test on his porch with.
That's right. It was
what
whether
can
you
we-
can put a Scotch glass underneath the carriage, how tall of a glass you can fit without it hitting. And I think we decided that your Smith Premier was good for the gin and tonic glass. but you just need a taller coffee cup, Diane, is what you need. But anyways.
Nothing works for the martini, though. Don't ask me how I know.
But I like the idea of an external gong or bell. That should be an accessory.
You'd have to-
Accessorize your typewriter. Yeah.
I like
You have
it.
to steal the remote shutter cable from your camera.
Yes. Yes. I like that.
To do that, so you could have it be flexible.
Get one of those school gongs, the electromechanical bells, recess bell.
Oh boy.
Oh, those were annoying.
You just need it to cycle once. Just bing.
Oh man.
Anyways, yes, we can dream big at least. Oh,
Yeah.
I have the art paper, Gregory, cut down here to 6x9, so I'm gonna
Oh,
have to try
cool.
that. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love that size.
yep.
And now it's short grain, so it'll go around the platen even better.
There
Yes.
you go.
Mr. Printing paper expert yourself.
I know. There's a whole series of blog posts about paper.
No.
Yeah.
More than you ever wanted to know about paper.
Paper sensei.
Yes, yes.
Go down the
All
marker.
right. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks, Gregory. How are you?
Good, good.
So we had the great Southeastern Typewriter meet yesterday
Ooh.
at a railroad museum. We have it once a year, sometimes twice a year. It was good. And the typewriter gods smiled on us and let us have it inside because it's, well, Sean's not there, but he'll laugh at me. It was like 34 degrees. So I did not want to do it outside like we've been doing it. So great turnout, a lot of machines. And Joe's making me he's rubbing salt in the wound because I let a Optima go. It was a seafoam greenish blue. It was beautiful. And I was about ready to buy it. And then somebody got it out from under me.
Oh,
But it didn't have a case. And so I was waffling on whether I wanted it or not. And I did. But I got a Groma Combina. It's quartz, but it's a nice machine.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
So
That's
very
so
nice.
pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
It does cut your fingers though when you pick it up.
Yeah.
Good chrome on it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's in great condition, super nice to type on. So that was fun. We were there all day, just talking typewriters with a bunch of typewriter folks, and it was a really great day.
At a railroad museum, that must have been cool.
Yeah, it's a really neat place. It's mostly railroad, but it's a lot of travel. There's a bunch of old taxi cabs and buses from all different like all the buses I remember from the 70s. I can still smell that diesel.
Oh, yeah.
We got all the different, we have what we call MARTA,
Oh, yeah.
Metro Atlanta Rapid Transit. And so they have them all from like each decade there. But the trains, just tons of trains that you can go walk through and see all the different arrangements of how it used to be to travel. So it's a really neat place, but they got a real nice meeting room in the back. So we set up tables and had it all back in there.
Sounds like an appropriate place to have a typewriter meeting.
It's neat. They have some typewriters in the museum, special railroad typewriters, which is kind of cool. And they've got a few typewriters that people just left from other meets that we've had, and they put them in a case, and it's like, hey, we're so-and-so's. So interesting.
That's funny.
Wow.
Maybe the silver one, number 114 is there.
If anybody wants a fez, there's a Fezorama. I looked into getting Sean and I a fez because they'll do custom embroidery on it, but you got to order like 100 of them or something. So I was gonna get typewriter embroidered on it.
You could easily get rid of 100 fezzes with typewriters on it. I can think of, half a dozen people at least.
All right, right on.
I'm in the market for a typewriter fez, definitely.
I would tell you, but then we'd have to argue about what kind of typewriter would be on the fez.
That's a good point.
But I think the tassel has to be red and black.
Oh, yeah,
that's good.
Good point.
You got a patch, but it's not too big, so it probably might look small on a fez.
Excellent. I was eyeing that typewriter back there, so I'm glad you.
Yeah, it's really nice. I had not used or seen a large Groma.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I couldn't pass it up. It's weird. It's got the most beautiful ribbon on it, but I think it's a calculator ribbon. because it's there's hardly any ribbon on each spool. And
some of those calculator ribbons are really well inked. They
Yeah.
actually work pretty well.
That's exactly, yeah, it's really dark, and but I doubt it's got grommets on it, so I bet it's gonna need to be reversed very often because it's so short.
Yeah.
I think my Calibri, I'm trying to remember. I thought the Calibri was worked on back tension instead of eyelets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be good.
Like kind of like the Olympias worked on a tension, ribbon tension.
Good, 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 good.
So is that a QWERTY?
It's quartz.
Quartz. Oh, that's right. You said it at the beginning. So now you
Yeah.
have to learn German.
I just got an Erika 10 and it's quartz, and I just did all my Type Pals letters on it. So now I'm used to the quartz. So I'm going to move to this one now while I'm still in the groove.
Your fingers will be bilingual.
That Y, man, I can't believe how many times Y. I thought, nah, this won't be any big deal, but man, like 19 times within a paragraph was my.
Yeah.
You really got to think about it.
And they moved the punctuation all around too. I think it's the punctuation more than the Y and the Z that throws me off.
Does it have a dead key accent mark instead of an apostrophe?
My Erika does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one does too.
Yeah. So you have to kind of hit the apostrophe and then hit the space bar to move the carriage, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Or hit the accent mark and then the space bar. Yeah.
So
it's not as bad as a French keyboard. The AZERTY is a lot harder because there's more letters that are transposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got an Italian one. It's an old Olivetti. I think it's AZERTY.
I find if you're two-finger typing with the QWERTY or Quartz keyboards, it's not so bad because you're generally going to be looking at the keys anyways if you're two-finger typing. And yeah, I find it's not that hard to hit the Y because you're going to be looking at it. It's not like you're doing it touch typing style.
I was pretty proud of that's what I thought, and I was pretty proud of myself that I was screwing up so much because I thought, well, maybe I'm a better typist than I think I am because I'm not just staring at my fingers. I was.
Well, when I started doing that, my brain would know that I was supposed to switch, but my fingers would be faster than my brain.
That's it. Yes.
The next thing I know, I hit a Z when I'm in a Y.
Yeah.
You know it. So why did you do that?
Well, Rich, I've thought about that very thing, and it's like when you see an insect that's partially crushed and his leg is still twitching, it's like there's a motor mechanism in the leg itself that's still firing nerves to the muscles.
Yeah.
But the central brain part isn't telling it to do that. I wonder if there is something like that with muscle memory with us humans. Like there's a part of your brain that the part that just moves the muscle is still has its own memory, kind of hardwired from repetitive training, right?
Yeah, you know, when I play lead guitar, and when I work out new licks or whatever, I have to write these parts, but to memorize them, that takes training. I mean, mental and physical training. And when you get to the point where you're playing something really fast over and over again, you can't think about it anymore. Now it's just the muscle memory, because if you try and think about it, I lose it. And so it's kind of like, you know, I learned how to type in school when I was a sophomore. I took a class, and the best thing I ever did, because I've always touch type now. And and I think that might be what you're describing is the problem, where I keep going to the Y and the Z without really even thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like my brain is disconnected.
I wonder if there isn't some kind of dietary supplement like vitamin B6 or something that helps your nerve connections to reprogram themselves easier when you're in that learning phase.
Vitamin Y and Z.
Relearn new muscle memory.
No, you got to do the work. There's nothing.
And I wonder if we could market that as typewriter pills. And
well, if you're doing a quartz, you got to eat a lot of schnitzel, I guess.
Schnitzel.
Train for that.
Yes. Sounds like a tough training regimen, but I think we're up to
it. Excellent.
Very cool.
Kara, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you
Good.
guys? Missed you guys last week. I wasn't feeling well.
Oh,
I swear to God, I tested negative twice for COVID, but I think that we have had COVID. We're doing better now, and people keep saying sometimes it's just a cold, sometimes it's just a sinus infection. I'm like, I've had those things. That's not what this has been. But so I'm upright, I'm cheerful, and I have some typewriter and typewriter adjacent. Well, they're all typewriters. I have some things to share.
excellent.
I'll go in order of size. How's that?
Yeah, that works.
This is the first
Oh my goodness.
Is that the largest or
Very
the
small.
smallest?
It's the world. The platen on this thing is like hard. Let me tell you. It's the world's smallest typewriter. But look, it even has it has a return lever. I don't know if you can see that. It has a little return lever. I think this is the shrunk version of Sean's Gorham laptop. That's one thing I got. I don't know exactly what to do with it, but it was one of those late night wine fueled shop Goodwill moments.
Is that a
And
quartz or a QWERTY?
I can't tell.
They're too tiny.
It's something. It's a fairy machine. And then my Royal O finally had a baby.
Oh.
These are so cool. I didn't realize, I always wanted one just because I love my O and stuff, but they're kind of functional. They type a little bit, needs a new drawband. But typical, right? But this is really fun. Was it Kelsey or somebody who had one of these and typed something and put it in there? Because you can. The platen's really soft on this. It would be great typing if there was more than one key lever. Those are the first two. And then
One letter.
the machine from Florida finally got here from wherever else it has traveled. So I'm happy about that.
Oh, nice.
It's a
Oh yeah.
It's a sterling.
Another
And
fine.
oh no, I love it. And, yes, I kissed my head already. I
So you
know.
did have Corona.
Yes. And this is one of those machines. You know how you get a machine? Okay, so it came upside down and it had gone somewhere else. But they did, and they didn't really listen to me about how to hack it, but they listened to me about securing it in the case. So even though it was upside down, it was in good shape.
Good.
It has the, it has the classic little scratch across there. So I had to form that. But when you get a machine and it's really functional and then it just has a couple of little quirky things and you just sort of dive in and start, even the slugs, I want to clean them, but they came out, it's typing nicely. And it had one of the links had been popped. So I fixed that. And the ribbon was so mildewy that it gave me an allergy. But armed with concrobium, I conquered that. And well, it's still a little bit, but this release lever back there. No, not that one. Oh, for God's sake. It's hard to do this with a video and wrestling with a typewriter and stuff. This release lever. Right? So it's like that. It's kind of curved, but on this side it was completely bent down. So it wouldn't, there was no place for it to go to release. So I had to reform that and hope that I wasn't going to break it off and stuff. So it was really fun to just, how you get a machine and then you just kind of start tinkering with it and you get kind of personal with it and you get to know it and stuff. So it's a 38 and I couldn't actually find it on the database for some reason, but I found it in the pictures on the database. The numbers didn't line up for some reason, but I found it on the in people's photos because the ones that matched And maybe there wasn't a photo because the ones that matched this were not, this is it's a 3A, but it's not, but it's shiny. It doesn't have the stripes. Anyway, it was a while ago and I've been out of it, so I don't remember exactly what I'm saying, but so it made me feel like it was kind of special because it was all shiny, and I had wanted a all shiny standard speed line one because of a Father Brown episode that I saw.
Yeah.
where they solved the murder because of the guy was writing threatening notes to himself on the typewriter. I hope I didn't spoil that for anybody. And they figured out it was his own typewriter, and it was all for a good cause. But anyway, and Kurt Jackson has one that he's been telling me he's going to send to me for like 3 years now. And so I finally had to just get one of my own. I didn't realize, I feel kind of dumb, but I didn't realize that the Sterlings had more bells and whistles, well, same number of bells, than the standard, which of course it's like standard Sterling. Sterling's a little better. I always just think of standard as the standard and the other ones just like the offshoots, but I seem to have quite a lot of Sterlings now. So I have to line them up and take a group photo of the Sterlings.
It is confusing because when you went to the 5 series, the Sterling was the low end.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I thought.
Whereas the 4 series, it was higher than the standard.
Right, and this is a 3 series and it's higher than the standard. So because I have the other one, you know, that I've been using so much is that the standard with the crinkle paint on it. And I'm loving this machine so much. It's just, I keep thinking I'll swap out my machines and not doing it. But
so Kurt, I was thinking that medium-sized toy typewriter with a single key, the single type bar, there's a way to type messages with that, and that is if you use what's called base 1 logic, which doesn't really exist except I invented it back when I was a kid. Is if you type 1 character, that's A, and then a space. If you type 2 characters, that's a B, and etc. So you could just do a series of strings of characters and encode it that way for the letters of the alphabet, right? So.
I invented that same thing when I was a kid, Joe. We could have written to each other way back then.
base 1. It only has zeros, and there's no place values because they're all 1 to the 1th power, 0th power, whatever. So they all mean the same thing. So exactly.
Yeah, it only gets a little bit cumbersome after about the
it does. Yeah, exactly.
Technically, that's actually 2 characters because a blank space would be the 0.
It would be. Yeah, you're right.
Oh no.
You can always do Morse code.
Did I ruin it?
Well, we'll use decimal points between the numbers.
The problem with this is that when you type 1 letter, the entire row goes.
Oh yeah,
that's efficiency.
I mean, it would make it shorter in a way because there's only 4. You just have to guess which 4. It would be like Wordle. It would be like the typewriter version of Wordle.
So I was going to mention, since we're talking about this, that these little label makers,
I have one of those.
Okay, well they use thermal tape. Those white little labels are actually a thermal technology. So this is really a typewriter. It's actually a thermal typewriter, but it only prints in a single line strip. And I've been curious about putting some thermal paper into the cartridge and seeing if I can't get letters. And why couldn't you hack one of these to print on regular paper, right?
I do know that you can't take that label stuff and put it in a thermal typewriter because I tried that.
Okay. But I wonder if you could go the other direction and make thermal paper print on this, right?
I'm not sure if that's a thermal tape or if it's like not an impact but a pressure sensitive type tape,
because I don't really hear any like impact going on.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Like I was really expecting to be able to take that tape and like tape it to a sheet of paper and put it in a thermal typewriter and type on it, and it just doesn't work at all. It leaves no impression at all. So I was kind of curious whether how that actually worked.
I'll have to do some research and see what happens.
I've got 2 of those, the same model that I use. I use them a lot.
I wonder if it works from the underneath. Oh, you know what? I think there's a like a layer of plastic that is on top of the printing
Mhm.
when it spits it
It
out.
prints
So-
from the back, I think.
Yeah, there's
So-
a tape you peel off too. That might
Yeah.
have something to do with it.
Yeah. So I think this is like the last typewriter that's actually made brand new is these thermal label makers.
Good idea.
And I guess thermal
Okay.
point of
With
sale
that.
printer receipt printers, right? And those
Oh,
maybe those shipping envelope, or you know, the little shipping labels, the 4x6 thermal shipping labels that you do if you're like a full-time shipping guy like Google or something, Amazon. Anyway, yeah, you can actually print labels that way from your computer, but this is like a keyboard device, right? A battery powered portable typewriter.
But you got to connect it to a bell or a gong.
I think you're just going to have an office desk bell next to you. And when you're
Wi-Fi.
done, you just hit it, slap it with your hand.
And
Okay.
here's that sideways bell.
Oh, let me there we
Ted
go.
was showing us it. Okay. Oh, the bell. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see.
So you
And
operate it.
here's
Wow.
the touch mechanism right here. It's like it acts like it moves and should be able to be pulled this way, but I can pull it out, but it's not moving.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but yeah, it's kind of funny to see the bell hit on top of the bell
Yeah.
on one of these rather than on the inside, but it's mounted, at 90 degrees from the other one.
Wow.
But that other thing is puzzling, and it's kind of like half the fun of trying to fix a typewriter is you find these little things that don't apparently do anything. You have to try and crack the code on what exactly it is.
Yeah, and it's like the mechanism here is different, but there's a couple of different mechanisms that I've seen throughout the course of these manufacturers, or this manufacturer's period. I mean, this one will take the 3-color ribbon, because it's got this indicates that it'll do that.
Wow.
But I have yet to find a 3-color ribbon.
Hmm. Wow.
Interesting.
Vexing.
Yeah. And
Do you guys?
A 3-color ribbon?
Yes.
What's the third color?
Purple.
Mm.
So it would have black, purple, and red.
Huh.
Which at the time, I guess purple was the one they used for writing, because I know most of a lot of the old letters that I've seen from this company, they have purple text. And when I look at that, the advertising pencil that I have that has these stripes on it, the largest stripe is purple.
Wow.
And hectograph reproduction, if you're making not photocopies, but repro, you needed the purple for that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's interesting. The stripe here has R in the black, copy in the purple, and C in the red. I don't know. I think the R is for record. I forget what the other C is for.
Corrections, maybe?
I don't know. I know it does say in one of the manuals I have, but they're in the other room. I don't know if you guys regularly take pictures of your keyboards, like, looking. I have my stuff plugged in here because I had an electrical issue yesterday in my office. But I'm trying to remember to take pictures like this, so I can see, because I mean, this one, it has a half key down here, an exclamation point up here. The apostrophe is way up here. On most of them, it's down here and it's white. And it has an equal sign, and so it's moved the colon key, and it's kind of weird. But I started doing that just because, heaven forbid I ever have a fire, that would suck. And then I'd be wondering, well, which key is which?
Yeah.
So I started doing full keyboard pictures, and in addition to just the the front image of the typewriter.
Yeah. Excellent.
Interesting.
And Ted, what's that on you have going on your screen?
Oh, this is the access stats for Typewriter database from about February 2019 to January 2022. So if you just look at the bars, you can see how things have improved. Like through 2019, we've got, as far as requests for pages, we're almost 20% higher in 2022 than we were in 2019. So we've got a pretty solid 10% growth per year, I would say.
Nice.
So that's
Your marketing department will be happy.
That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
So
that's a good direction.
Those who are curious. Let's see.
Of course. Ooh, pie charts.
Oh, pie charts.
Gregory. Oh, pie charts.
Pie.
Oh, this is like a gigantic. Oh yeah, this is a gigantic report. Every single page, how much traffic it gets.
Oh wow.
Wow.
That'd be interesting to break that down and see what the most popular and most searched typewriter brand is.
I can tell you that right off the bat. It's Royal first, Underwood second, and
Smith Corona.
Then no, it kind of fades back and forth between various
interesting
thing, but it's definitely the Royal page gets the most traffic.
Yeah.
Followed by the Underwood one, and then
most of that Royal is me.
Well, people do like the Royals and the Underwoods.
Oh yeah.
Well, the Smith Premier traffic is probably largely me.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say too.
Let's see here. Rich, I know we've already been talking to you, but how are you doing?
Well, great, thank you. So I kind of like decided I didn't need any more, especially after doing my inventory yesterday. But we were out. I took my wife to the nursery and we saw a Goodwill. I said, "Hey, come on, we got to stop at the Goodwill." And so I did find something, and maybe y'all can help me understand what it is. It's an electric typewriter by Smith Corona. And
is it an Ultronic? No, it isn't.
Electra.
Electra, okay.
All I know is that I plugged it in and all the keys worked, but it needs a ribbon because this one looks kind of bad. So
oh yeah, that's not the cartridge ribbon one. No, that's
no,
spool ribbon.
It's a spool.
Okay, so it'd be probably a late 60s, early 70s. Well, I don't know. It might be an 80s.
It says correction type.
Yeah, okay. It would be an 80s machine then. Yeah, what do you want to know about it?
Well, you just told me, so now I gotta find the serial number on it. And
yeah,
it's got a 2-color ribbon. It's white. I guess that's for the correction.
That's the correction. You want to get rid of that right away.
Yep.
Why?
Because that white stuff flakes off and goes into the machine.
Really?
And gums up everything.
Big mess.
Yeah, it's basically like shaking dandruff into your machine all the time.
Oh wow! So it's like 40 years old. I should get rid of it now.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't been used in 40 years. So the thing is, when you start typing, that stuff's going to flake right off and start falling into your machine.
Oh, okay, we won't have that. That'll go. But I'm not. I have a Selectric. I really like it. So I never really felt like I needed another electric. But, since this was working and decent price, I thought, okay, let's see what it does.
I've never had one, but I know that Wayne Jensen says that those are pretty good machines. It's a good mechanism.
It's an interesting color. I don't think I have anything this color, like a teal, maybe. But anyway, that's really the only news I have.
Okay.
What is this?
It's got a handle.
That used to belong to May.
I was just thinking that.
So
Maybe
Gregory, before we close here, I
Yes.
wouldn't mind showing this. So I took the cartridge out of this label maker, and
You're fast.
let me see if I can focus on this. So there is a little ribbon cable, if you can see that right there. That's the print head. And this is a strip of thermal paper. And
you fed it through.
I just fed it through. So it's a pinch roller that is activated by the cartridge. So you have to push the pinch roller by hand to get it engaging to feed the paper. But that's so you can definitely use thermal paper in these things. So now the hack is going to be how to have a spool, or somehow how to make this into a real typewriter, right? That'll be the trick.
I expect to see that next week, Joe.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't know, but it's interesting. So you could certainly take some thermal paper, cut a long, tape together a long strip of it, put it in a little spool or something, maybe re-spool one of the cartridges.
Yeah.
And then you could just stick it on a piece of paper, like ransom note style, you know.
Well, heck, if you had a paper guillotine, you could stick a roll of fax paper in 1/2 inch at a time and just slice off spools.
That's true.
In the roll. So
yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Or if you could remove this ribbon cable from the body of it, and somehow the pinch roller mechanism also, and just build it into something that'll drive. I mean, you know, this is crazy. You'd almost have to like drive the sheet of paper across, and then you'd have to do a carriage return and then drive it across, you know, but
It's like you're reinventing the wheel.
well, turning a label maker back into a typewriter, because it is the last typewriter that's being made.
True.
I mean, seriously. So
The first pocket typewriter.
the first pocket typewriter. Maybe I'll even do a silly video about it. But it is, yeah. You can have these little messages, these little, you know. Anyways,
write a whole letter on that.
I might send you a letter, Ted.
Okay, I'll get out my magnifying glass and spool.
No, it's actually regular font. This is like 12 or 14 point font. It's not that small.
Nice.
I thought the Bennett typewriter was the first pocket typewriter.
Well, this is probably smaller than that. I don't really know the limit actually, how long of a message you can type, but it's certainly, it seems like it's as long as a letter size paper would be, right? That whatever a line is, it probably does that.
So just type it in strips, type the letter in strips, and then put all the strips in the envelope, and Ted has to figure out.
He has to. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Excellent idea.
But I
glue
could,
them together.
to help
You're
him
welcome,
out,
Ted.
I'll number the strips in numerical order.
Oh, that's no fun.
I know.
No, then I can't do like a William S. Burroughs and like rearrange them randomly, make a novel out of them.
Have multiple meanings.
We need to do a type house where everybody just types one strip and sends it to Ted or to Gregory, and then you make a letter out of it and publish it for us.
That's a good idea.
But you know, compared to my other thermal typewriters, this is a nice dark imprint. It really is.
Well, I
I
wonder
think,
if
Gregory, you would like this.
I wonder if it has a stronger print head, like more power.
Yeah, I think it does, because it has to print through those thick labels, right? With the
that may be why the thermal typewriters wouldn't print on the labels.
Yeah.
Just didn't have a strong enough current through the head.
And I mean, you could use these label making cartridges and make a letter, but it's more expensive to do it that way.
Yeah,
it's much cheaper to get a roll of, you know, fax paper and cut it up yourself, right? So,
Joe, I have a question. Do you use that labeler a lot?
You know, I do occasionally. I have a couple Dymo labelers, right, that uses the embossing.
Yeah.
But I find that those old rolls, the glue on them doesn't work very well. It doesn't stick.
I had that problem with that too. But with this one, my question was, I use, you know, you put new batteries in it and you get so much life out of out of those
Yeah.
batteries. About halfway before you're done there, it starts saying replace batteries.
I know.
It'll last a lot longer. Does yours do that too?
Mine has done that, but oddly enough, recently it hasn't. And I was expecting it to be related to like the house is a little cool in the wintertime and maybe the batteries, they have a temperature sensitive thing, right? How much voltage they put out. But I'm using Duracells, which is my standby go-to battery because my dad always said Duracells, Mallory was the company that used to make Duracells. And he said they were the best batteries because they used them in nuclear weapons or something. I don't know. But anyways, so I've always liked
Don't
them.
run out here.
Yeah.
But I do get a rash when I use Duracell batteries.
A rash?
No, just kidding.
Yeah, you mean from the radiation?
Yes.
So actually, this is like a side tangent, but these alkaline batteries used to have a little bit of mercury in them. And since they took the mercury out, they leak easier. So alkaline batteries leak easier than they used to because there's no mercury in them. So there's some YouTube video out there where they compare different brands of batteries based on how long they lasted and whether they leaked. And I think not the Duracells, what is the Energizers? The Energizers were probably the best for not leaking, but I think the Duracells are still the best as far as like how long they go for. So anyways, but anyways, I have noticed that thing about saying that the charge thing is halfway through, whatever, to say the batteries are low, but I wonder if it isn't related to either your battery contacts are a little dirty, or maybe you need to exercise that little pinch roller mechanism. See, I'm pushing that little thing with my thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe, because I think that pinch roller takes quite a bit of, I was trying to figure out how it actually engages. I think it's a gear that engages. There's a little white plastic gear. There's a motor that's driving the cartridge, and it actually moves the pinch roller in. So maybe there's something in the mechanism that's a little like some grease or something that's a little bit,
making it
stiff, right? And so maybe just exercising it helps. So
yeah, exercise always helps.
And I was going to say there's also different brands of these label makers that peel off differently. Like this is what is it? A P-Touch. Who makes that? I don't know who makes it, but
Brother.
And the Brother P-Touch cartridges, to peel off the backing, you have to kind of put it in the back slot. Oops, what happened to me? You have to put it in the back slot and kind of strip it, and it will peel off a little bit. But there's other kinds I use at work that the tape folds in half, and there's a split down the middle.
Yeah.
And right, so there's two different kinds of ways that they peel off. So, and there are cartridges that have like 3/4 inch wide tape. So you might.
I've got another one I found at a flea market in Germany. I just never use it. Bigger, easier to type on. It's just more of a pain because it's not pocket size.
Right. I don't know what happened to my screen here. Anyways, it was fun talking to you guys today. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Excellent. And anything else new with you, Rich?
No, that's it right now. Just got a new toy to figure out.
Yeah, exactly. Were there any more typing prompts or questions or comments? I suppose I should check in on the YouTube chat as well. Let's bring that up. And I switched themes, so it's now in like a dark theme. So so Ted was in the comments earlier. And Christopher McCullough says, "Morning all, just lurking here."
Hey, Chris.
Let's see. Susan Coover, I have had extraordinary luck finding typewriters in very good condition at estate sales for decent prices, although I must admit prices are rising there too. Yeah, here in Southern California, at the estate sales, they know what they have, so they're marking them up definitely. David Corneli, I think the key layout is a bigger issue the more efficient you are at touch typing. This is not a problem for me, which I guess means he's not all that good at touch typing, perhaps. Let's see it. Atelier, and I just slaughtered that. Burgoyne, we know who that is, Daniel. Marx did not have a symbol. Oh, okay. Yeah, the German marks, yeah. Just the Reichsmark, yeah, RM. It was the currency of Germany from 1924 until 1948 in West Germany, where it was replaced with the Deutschmark, and in East Germany, where it was replaced by the East German mark.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. And then Amy McKay, I'm jumping in on a break from mixing audio. My husband is listening in and said someone was having trouble identifying what they think is an Erika 10. I have an Erika Pullman 12, and they are similar, but have wildly different serial numbers. I have to go back to editing, but if I finish and you're chatting, I'll find the serial number to compare. And Daniel says, no, not trouble, just discussion about East German models. Okay, yeah, there we go. I believe we're all caught up on that. Yeah, excellent. But did anyone else have any typing prompts or questions or comments? Or oh, what do you have there, Ted?
Your audio, Ted.
Unmute me. There we go. Oh, wow.
That's a big one.
That display is showing just like a little tiny bit of the screen. Do you have full screen on? Or wait?
I do.
Hold on. I think I am viewing Gregory's screen. Exit full screen. There we go. Oh, thank God. Now this is a P-Touch I found at a Deseret for $5, which was it's nice. It's got like a chiclet style keyboard, which is a little better than the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And it takes a gigantic cartridge.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
To roll some thermal paper in there.
Yes, sir.
And,
Yeah, I have two of those. Two that take cartridges that big.
I'm going to cut a slot in the back of my machine so I can feed an external spool of paper.
Yeah, it's an idea. I mean, once Joe sent me one of these as a littler one, then I kind of went on a spree and bought a whole bunch of different P-Touches.
Nice.
So,
Yeah,
Joe
one of those too.
sometimes sparks a lot of acquisition into me.
Yeah. I'm an enabler.
Yes, yes. Now, those cartridges, I wonder how easy they would be to hack. Yeah, like, is there a way to open it without destroying it?
You could try. I mean, they're locked up pretty tight, but
okay.
It looks like there might be some tabs that you'd have to use a razor blade and split apart, or bend out, but maybe they open up, I think.
Once I finish one out, I'll try that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Crack it open and see if I can.
This one's getting down there to the end. So, but with my machine, I'm thinking if I just cut a little slot here, I can just feed paper from underneath it and it would just pull right through it. Kind of like this slot is up here, just extend it down here. And then I can have an external spool of paper and just.
I love this idea.
And it has a pinch roller, so it'll pull it through.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you just need a freewheeling spool of thermal paper.
Wow.
On a nice wooden base, and then the batteries, if you could replace it with an AC adapter, wire it in so you don't have to worry about batteries anymore.
This one actually has this one actually has an AC adapter port.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, cool.
Actually, you know what? Mine does. Maybe not. Maybe. Anyways,
that one does.
No. There's some weird little jack here, but I don't know what that is. It's
a video monitor out jack.
A video monitor. I wish it was. Oh, you know what it is? It's a hand strap, like a little for holding it with a strap.
It's a Kensington lock.
It's a Kensington lock, so nobody steals your label maker typewriter. Yeah. So this would actually be smaller than a Barbie typewriter.
Yep.
Yes.
So, okay. So
That's a
now I know
good
what I'm going to
idea.
work on this week.
Yeah.
There's your next video right there.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, God.
To write letters with
Just-
it.
Just
I
to
might-
be clear, this is not a Barbie typewriter. This is an American Girl typewriter.
American Girl.
American
Okay.
Girl.
And then, or a G.I. Joe typewriter. No.
Yeah, if it had a little tripod for
Yeah.
in the field,
Or would it be
There you
Ken?
go.
A Ken typewriter, you know?
Yeah.
hard to say.
Okay. Anyways.
Love your coffee cup,
funny.
Greg.
Yeah. Doctor Who. TARDIS. Yeah.
Is that a never-ending coffee cup? It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
I'm-
don't you worry about what comes out of there when you put it to your mouth?
Yeah, I'm actually drinking directly from the ocean. So
So,
it's a little
Mike-
salty, but
so Gregory, my concern would be the volume to surface ratio of a square-sided cup. It would cool off the coffee too fast.
yeah.
Ooh, but not if it's a TARDIS. It's magic.
Exactly.
So
And
How do you drink out of it? Because it's square. You need to put a corner in your
On
mouth.
the corner. Yeah.
no, I've actually been pretty successful drinking from the side. It's awkward because you feel like water's going to go all over you, but it doesn't. So when I first got it, I definitely drank it diagonally.
so you have to practice with beer in a boot.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
probability of it spilling all over you is directly proportional to the staining properties of the liquid you're drinking.
There you go. There you go.
Cosmic connection.
And the color and what color your shirt is. If it's
Yes.
white, you can bet it's going to be stained.
Oh, yes, yes, certainly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this has Ted. I don't. Yours probably does too. This has a USB.
Oh, mine does not. It does
Oh.
not. have,
Oh, so now you could.
so-
What is the
now it's-
USB for?
I think it's software that you can I
Oh,
guess, interact with this thing to use it,
okay.
type the labels on the computer.
What
Oh,
model
wow.
number is that one?
It is a
It wants it.
I don't know, TZ tape. I
It
don't
should
see
say
a
on the
mod-
back, on the label on the bottom.
It's a P-Touch. Yeah, I don't see a model. No.
Well, it's not a label. It's like imprinted into the plastic.
Yeah, PT 2700.
Okay, yeah, mine's an 1830.
And mine's just a mere PT80.
Or my other two.
Oh.
Yours is 1,000 better than mine.
1000.
At work, we used to have one that actually had a full-size keyboard. And it
Oh,
was
wow.
it was a label maker and it actually had a full-size typewriter keyboard.
Wow.
Actually, there was one I had. It's in my blog. Let's see if I can figure it out. But it was a full size. It was basically 2 units, and it had a print wheel. But the print wheel was almost a foot wide, and it would print like very large fonts. It was intended for not label making, but for typesetting. Back in
Oh.
the days of when you were still doing cold typesetting. And it would print on label tape like that, and it had several different fonts, but it had a full keyboard. It was massive. I'm gonna have to grab the URL for that because that's
So here is the hot setup, I think. 8.5 by 11-inch adhesive shipping labels.
Mhm.
And I think if you cut this, except it's not thermal. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
I was going to say if you could cut it and then you peel it off and stick it, but never mind. It's not thermal.
Oh,
Oh,
darn.
well.
So this actually even has, I've got the manuals and some software.
Hmm.
Oh.
But actually, there are thermal shipping labels. Those that come in a little fanfold pack.
Yes,
So
yes.
you can, I think you could cut those into strips and then peel them off and stick them on the letter.
Yeah.
So I think that might be the way to go with this label maker typewriter concept.
There's that here, I think, maybe if it's too pinchy.
Oh, maybe, but this regular label maker stuff in the cartridge is pretty thick, and it has to unspool it. So I think just feeding it from strips from through the machine, it might work. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll be watching for the video, Joe.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my friend Ethan has a bunch of those fan fold 4x6 labels because he makes cameras and ships things off all the time. So I'm sure I can get, all the labels I want from him. So
There you go.
we're going to be meeting this Tuesday anyways. And we're going to do a deep dive into Russian cameras.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi, cameras.
Zorkis specifically. Spy cameras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zorkis.
James Bond.
Yes.
Excellent. And Ted posted that link in there.
Yeah, it's a Croy 80. Croy 80K was what it was called, but it was it's a giant machine, basically a giant Diamo machine.
Let's see.
And there's the sales brochure for it with all the fonts that came with it.
Share your screen.
Wow.
Very cool.
Cool.
But
Yeah, they used to have something called a multi-lith that worked like that they would typeset things and then they'd photocopy them somehow.
Yeah, they basically you type what the headlines with that thing, and then back in the day we used to have a typesetter service that we would basically type up stuff on a typewriter, send it to them, and they would typeset it in justified columns on stat paper, and then we take all that, paste it up on a mechanical sheet board, and then take it to the stat camera, shoot a negative of that, like a flat negative, and then burn that onto our plates. So it was very much a photographic process back then to do printing plates. And so, yeah, when we would just do our typesetting on paper, paste it up onto like a cardboard sheet, so that you have your headline, and then you tape your body copy underneath that, and any pictures that you wanted, or actually pictures we'd have to shoot halftone pictures in order to run it on the printing press. But yeah, it was a very time intensive process back then, but those were the machines we used for that. It was an interesting process. I kind of miss those days.
Did you have to walk to work 5 miles?
Yeah.
Uphill in the snow?
No, but when we shot the negatives, we didn't actually have a burner, which was like a very high arc welding sort of light system in a box to burn through the negative onto the photographic printing plate. So I'd have to take it out and put it in a glass pressing thing and hold it out to the sun for 20 seconds.
Wow.
Go out there and hold it up to the sun and just count to 20, and then come back in, run back in, and go in the dark room and develop it. But,
wow.
So they couldn't do that in the Canadian winters.
you could in Arizona. That was easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were fun times. I was a teenager back then, but
Wow.
Excellent.
Old
I
technology.
kind of wish I had the lenses out of those stat cameras these days, because those would make great large format lenses.
They do, and they're optimized to pass UV light.
Yep.
So, like, I have the Xerox machine lens that I've been using for this diazo print process,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be faster than an equivalent pictorial lens, because the Xerox machines, the light source has a lot of UV in it.
Yep. Yeah.
So, and you look at the coatings, it's the lens have different color coatings anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, I did a little strip here that looks pretty good. Let me focus here. This is the larger size. Let me focus on my hand. Here you go. There you go.
Ooh, that works pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. And that's regular thermal paper. So.
Wow.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Oh, it doesn't print out when you actually type. You have to hit print, don't you?
Right. And what I did with it is I had to loop it through. Let me quickly show you how I do this here. You have to I know, it's crazy. We're running out of
I
time
love
here, aren't
this.
we, Gregory?
Oh no,
No,
we have all the time
no,
in the world.
we're here all day.
So I have to loop the paper in the machine so that it'll go in and out of the top slot. You know, the top slot where the
Ah.
paper exits from it, it'll pull into it around the print head, and then that pinch roller mechanism will come down and pull it through. So I could probably figure out how to do this from an external supply of paper without hacking the body of the printer. Just
I
feed it
feel like
through the
you will
top.
if we give you another 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. I think I'm going to set it on a wooden
And
base.
here's the blue version.
Well, I'm going to set it on a wooden base with a spindle, and it'll have a typewriter spool with a bunch of paper on it. It'll
And a
just
go-
pull-
and a gong?
And a gong. Yeah, I'll have a bell. I can just hit it, and when it's done. And there's only a certain limit to how many characters you can type. That'll basically be the line length. And so you do each line, and then you clear it, and then do the next line, and you know.
Well, because with that, you can actually hit return and it will start a second row. So you're actually printing 2 rows. So you
Oh
can
yes,
actually,
that's right. You can do a small size font and do 2 rows at a time. Yeah, very good. I like
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Also, there's a bonus to that, because I don't think those label makers do steganography, where they put micro dots.
Yes.
To identify the printer, like regular laser printers and inkjet printers do.
Which is good for ransom notes. And
yeah, so if you need to write ransom notes, that would probably be the thing to use.
you're trying to Department of Homeland Security and NSA and
yeah.
You guys think of everything.
We
have to stay ahead. Anyways,
oh man.
So this will be the next craze. This will be the new thermal typewriter, the Barbie-sized thermal typewriters.
There you go.
well, I hope you're successful because that'll make the 2 I have pretty expensive.
And then you can you'll have an avenue toward early retirement just by buying up the label maker market and reselling them.
Thank you, Joe.
I think you should invest now, and then by the time my video comes out, you'll be able to,
I'll be ahead of the game.
You'll be ahead of the curve. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still find those things really cheap at thrift stores all the time. So I mean, this is the time to do it. This is the time to go buy.
Before
It's a pyramid scheme, and we're going to be on the ground floor.
No, to buy all the paper now, way you have to supply.
Oh man, that's funny. Well, I have this roll of thermal paper, right? That this is like the 4 1/8 inch wide version. And if you could just cut it on a bandsaw, 1/2 inch wide strips, you'd have your own little spools, right? Each one would already be wound up.
I think you should take a regular fax roll to like a Kinko's or something and see if they've got a paper guillotine.
Oh, a paper guillotine. Yeah,
and we'll do that for you, because that'll just chop right through the.
My friend Ethan has a pretty decent paper guillotine. It'll cut like maybe 100 sheet ream of paper at a time. So
you can try.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll mangle part of the roll, cutting off the end of it though.
It depends on how sharp the blade is.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, the one I used, or the ones we had, I mean, those, it was a 25-pound blade, but it was razor sharp.
Yeah.
And it would just make a nice clean cut right through a whole ream of paper. So
yeah. It was probably French, right? If it was a guillotine cutter.
No, it was like the first one we had was from the 1800s. It was a manual one. But then we had a couple that were pneumatically controlled. So it would put the clamp down pneumatically and tighten it down. Then the blade would come down with the.
And was the clamp like a safety
pressure.
interlock? Like if it didn't go all the way down, it wouldn't.
No, because the clamp has to clamp the paper behind the
I see.
blade.
So there is no safety interlock. It's your own smartness that keeps you from becoming a paraplegic.
Well, no, they actually to set off the blade, there's a button on either side of the machine.
So it's a two-handed thing.
You had to have both thumbs on the buttons, otherwise it wouldn't go.
Otherwise, the printing industry would have a lot of one-handed people.
Yeah, I have seen a coworker smash their thumb underneath the clamp, not the blade. And yeah, it looks like a cartoon. Like all the meat just kind of spreads out, and it gets real flat.
Oh boy!
So it's good for doing tenderized whatever steak or something like that.
Yeah,
It messes up the paper too.
Yeah.
Messes up the paper.
It did. There was a lot of blood on that paper, but
Sorry, Diane. We didn't mean to make you nauseous.
Oh man.
Paper.
The places we've gone today.
Okay, so I'm going to show you one final comparison here. If I can focus my camera. Let's see here. So focus a little bit better.
Oh wow, that's a big difference.
So that's a regular thermal typewriter versus this label maker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're onto something.
He really is. And I'm buying into it.
Just a little bit of assembly work required after you do your typing, you know.
Yeah.
Tell it to IKEA.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's funny. All right.
All right. Any last typing prompts or questions or comments?
Oh, I wanted to thank Joe for his email.
Ah, you're welcome. It was difficult sending that overseas, you know.
And expensive. Oh,
a while to get there.
The freight charges, geez.
It took a long time.
Electrons are
Electrons
very,
are light.
they're very expensive to ship. Yeah.
Not to mention the time change they had to go through.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Well, we were talking last week about my employer being a major semiconductor manufacturer, and you know, if you sent a text message like a one-page Word document, it may be 50 kilobyte file size. But if you scan, take a photograph of your typewritten page and send it as a JPEG, it's like a half a meg to a megabyte in file size. So it's actually better to be typecasting than word processing as far as utilizing bandwidth on the internet.
Yeah.
If you want to maximize the amount of bandwidth you're using.
Exactly.
Be efficient. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up here. But thank you so much, everybody. And again, next week we'll have the Type and Talk on Saturday night. I've been very bad about sending out emails. Yeah, but you know, you guys are probably used to me by now, so
We got it figured out.
There's
yeah.
going to be heightened expectations once you do the virtual Harmons thing. You're going to have
I know,
all those people. Not to make you nervous or anything. But...
Well, I'm already nervous about it, but you know.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna be great.
You know, I've been making YouTube videos for several years. You know, my previous channel was music related, so I feel comfortable doing YouTube videos. But once you get a live audience, it's another thing. And with this, I feel more at ease because I'm kind of in control of things. But being in someone else's environment, I guess you might say, you know, where I'm not in complete control, that it makes me a little nervous.
What's the worst that could happen?
I know, right?
Well,
It's a
focus,
control freak.
well, focus on your face and then like slowly magnify up your nostril and
You know, last year, Kirk Jackson, his presentation, he actually made a video, and he basically just popped in and said hi, and then here's the video.
Yeah, I was
Which I
thinking
thought was brilliant.
I was thinking I might have to do that if my internet bandwidth issues remain. I'll just do the presentation ahead of time and maybe upload it to YouTube with a private link and give it to David, and he can download it himself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
something like that. But hopefully
Nothing
it'll
else
be
as a backup.
I'm sure he'll love doing things differently than the way he has to do everything.
Oh yeah,
else.
I'm sure, he's actually pretty flexible. I think
He is.
Yeah.
He's very comfortable with all the different variations. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was a lot of fun, everybody. Thank you for indulging my silliness here.
No, that I'm
was fun.
fascinated.
thank you for sharing your silliness.
We love the live R&D.
The live R&D, that's right.
Yes.
Yes, this is the new typewriter. We're going to have to get these branded as the P-Touch, and it'll be the Type Club Live thermal typewriter.
There you
The
go.
little logo sticker on there. Yeah.
That's right.
The
Coming to a
P-Touch Club.
Kickstarter near you soon.
That's right.
Small keyboard though. It's like for a hamster.
Yeah.
That's right. The
Oh.
hamster. The hamster writer.
Well, then we're just gonna have to figure out what's the best P-Touch model and try
Yeah.
to find one that has actual keys and
Yeah.
bigger buffer and
Yeah.
There you
Video
go.
out, USB connection. Oh wait, I got one.
yeah.
HDMI.
HDMI output for the video.
Yeah.
So you can
Wi-Fi.
type a whole letter and then print it out.
Live upstream.
Put Bluetooth in it.
You guys are too much.
Boombox.
A yeah, there you go.
Well, take the guts out, put an Arduino inside or something.
Yeah. Might be able to.
Oh man.
Okay, guys. I'll see you later.
All right.
Right.
Have a
Thank
great
you
week.
so much,
Bye,
everybody. And
everybody.
we'll see you again next week. So
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
bye-bye.
Sorry, I had to yawn there.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.